Good morning, um, good afternoon, good evening, good day to all of you. We are here on SKTV for another segment or for another edition of SKTV show. Want to welcome all of you um, to today's edition. Today is Sunday, February 20th, 2022. Can you imagine? We are past halfway through this month. I think we got about 8 or 9 more days to call it an end to this month, and we'll be headed for March, which is a longer month, as some of you are already aware. Um, Today, as always, as you can look at the caption or the title, today, where is Liberia headed? Where are we headed as a country? Um, Not waiting for 2023 or so forth, but where are we headed as a country based on everything that's going on in the country? We'd like to know. So today we have our surprise guests. We could have one or two more that we've invited to join us, um, if they're available and based on their schedules. So yes, so today another big discussion, another time to have a conversation. Um, we do intend to be here. Telco will be here at some point. Mr. Sekou Kane could or will be here at some point. Where is Liberia headed? At this point in the 21st century, where are we headed? Where are we going as a country? And this is not mutually exclusive to the politicians and so forth. So I want to welcome all of you. This question is a big, broad, wide question that has to be answered by all of us. All of us. One many Liberian partisans, business owners, people who are investors, managers, directors, the Yana boys, the keke, the taxi drivers, the truck drivers, just across the country, the business women, the students, the teachers, the youth, civil servants, those who work in government, private sectors. There's a question for all of us. Where is the country headed? Where are we headed as a nation? Where are we headed? It's very important. I was listening to this guy he used to be on CNN, Martin, and he was talking about how the country has to have a vision, and the head of that vision, which is the president or whoever is in charge, has to lay out that vision. For Christians, we say make it plain, write a vision, make it plain, and so forth. And people will run with it and whatever now. So where are we headed as a country? We have a lot to talk about, a lot. This is a shifted blink. Where are we headed? Or where do we want to go as a country? We don't believe that on SKTV it can only be said in the mouth, but where are we headed? What can we do? So yes, we have a couple of people here today. We have one of our guests that's already here in the back end, waiting to get this conversation started. So I'm very excited, very, very excited to learn, to hear from him, and to discuss this, at large. We'll be bring him on very soon, and once we share the show. But as always, we want to reference the Liberian people as the most important people on earth. But most importantly, we want to reference the Liberian women as the most beautiful women on earth. That's what we believe. That's what we subscribe to. And there's nothing that can change that. And if you want to contest that, especially with the men, you want to say that aren't true, then look at your mom. Look at your nieces. Look at your sisters. Look at your wife, look at your girlfriend, look at your significant other. Look at that female from Liberia. Tell me if we lie here. But yes, so we're going to share the show. Today we're not looking for a friend. Yesterday we were looking for a friend. I got a couple of cool friends. I don't want to add to them right now. I don't want to know about the friendship. So today we'll talk about how we play our song, how the politicians and other people have lied to us. And right after that, we'll be bringing our guests on to help us understand this quagmire, where we are headed, and, give us some perspective and so forth as we move forward. So please, let's share the show. Invite other people. Today's Sunday, beautiful Sunday. I'm looking through the windows. I can see the sun shining in Arizona. It's about 11 a.m. Very nice weather. Very, very beautiful. Those of you that are on the East Coast, you're on your own. I heard it getting cool over there. That's what I heard, but I'm not too sure. But anyways, we'll be on the East Coast this weekend by the grace of God. We'll be there for the memorial service of Christmas Silly, our friend and brother. So we'll be around to show support and solidarity. A friend and a brother. Politics cannot make us to split or go apart. So let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. And many of you would be surprised that in person I'm totally different than what you see on this Facebook. But that's something else we'll talk about another time. But yeah, let's share the show and let's go ahead and share the show. Please help us. We own no copyright to the song that will be playing here today, or the songs that will play here today. Thank you.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta whip us more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us, the people lie to us, the government betray us, they betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not come up. I said we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach in thee, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not to corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So, why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt ever. With the promises that let us do all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach in D and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to breathe? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and little on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie.
Well, the government fool us. The government betrayed us. They can lie. They can steal. They are corrupt. What an interesting song. Very, very interesting song. We didn't finish sharing the show because we had a call that interrupted. So what we will do, just for one more second, please share the show. We will definitely play just a song, quick, short song, just for the next few seconds here or a few minutes. Please share the show for those of you who haven't shared. Very sorry. And then right after that, we get our guests on. I know many of us are ready to have this conversation. Thanks for being patient with us. We didn't conclude it. Somebody interrupted us with a call. We're very sorry. So let's get to it, please.
You
beg you, yeah. I'm a bounce on you in the back end with someone that dancing, that small dancing I was doing in the back end. I bounce on y'all with dancing in the back. Yeah, the guests that were confused. The dance move I was giving. I don't know if Sekou watching it or what's going on here, but he said, look, he confused. The other movie I didn't see it before. I bounce on you in the back. I have small dancing I was doing. I was dancing in the back. Unfortunately, my boy D Curtis couldn't see it, you know. He couldn't see it. He will not see it. I'm sure he know how to dance move. He can steal it and go carry whenever he go do his show or he go do one of his performances somewhere. He looking for different style, but on your own. But this song here, this song looking at that small song. This song looking at it putting two in situation again. You know, this song that cool song. Eh? Somebody said Tyler Sherry. Well, let's recognize one or two people really quick. Get our guests on, and we'll move on. We'll be starting very, very quickly here. Joko, welcome to the show. Joseph Kanto, welcome to the show. Lai, welcome to the show. John, welcome to the show. Bird, Mr. Bird didn't want, but Bird, his first name, welcome to the show. D, welcome to the show. Bertha, welcome to the show. I don't want to get in trouble with this person, so let me go very slow in pronouncing their name. You Montro, welcome to the show. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. I'm sorry if I did. Josie, welcome to the show. Quickly on Josie, I met Josie in Atlanta, Georgia, I think 2 years or 3 years ago. Very good woman. We both were presenter at some kind of women event. She can write, but she's very quiet in person. Josie, it's good to see you. Welcome to the show. Very, very quiet in person, but very good woman. Thank you for being here, Josie. Y'all already know D Credit. D Credit, a liar, man. D Credit, a liar, man. Darling, welcome to the show. Bernice, welcome to Bernice. Abigail Maluba, welcome to the show. I'm not telling the other person welcome. I'm my own bestie, but she got different bestie than so me hold on. Tell I'm not telling you welcome. I know you'll be on very soon. Martin, welcome to the show. Let's run down really quick. Mona, welcome to the show. Ruth Robert Klingler, welcome to the show. One of our favorite followers and guests. Hassan, welcome to the show. It's always an honor, hearing from Josie or seeing her writing or so forth. Very quiet, very, very quiet, but she can write. She will write and so forth. Well, let's get to the show really quick. Let's bring our guests in here. Chairman Dora, how are you?
Hey, my brother, how you doing, man? Moses, how you doing? Good
yes,
to
sir.
be good to be on here, man. How you been doing? How the family has SKTV? I've been doing a great job, man. It's good to be on here.
Yes. Welcome to the show as always. You're not a stranger here. You've been gone for a while, so I thought, in the back we're joking me. I thought CDs were you, so I'll worry about it, Chairman.
Man, biggie, yeah. I figure I can't. Man, they've tried, but they can't do it. Chairman, I'm very resolute when it comes to certain things. So yeah, they've tried.
But man, I was searching all the days in Monrovia there, all part of the world. I said, but wait, I called Lofa. I said, but Lofa, what's going on with the Chairman? Lofa said, I'm straight. I said, brother, we no double check. But welcome is cool.
I mean, when they make it straight. So yeah, man. This CDC minimum, man. It's just unfortunate that we as opposition we can hold together, but it's the fact that you guys they've done so much damage to the country in the past couple of years, so we just got to do what all we can do to get it out. So to join them is to kind of condone or embrace the suffering of our people. So some of us says consciously we just can't do that. Yeah.
Most definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, want to welcome Chairman Dode. For those of you who already know him, for some of you who don't know him, Chairman Ibrahim Dode. Really quick, since you talk about the opposition couldn't hold together per your statement, what is your take on the most recent move by the Unity Party led the Unity Party, who I believe, in my view, is still leading the CPP, considering I'm not sure if they went through the legal process to remove themselves from the CPP. It's one thing to announce that you want to leave the CPP, but it's another thing for you to go through the process of removing
Right.
yourself legally. Because if
Right.
not, you are still, you still have responsibility, and you are still there's still some binding or attachment or some link to the CPP. By extension, Joseph Yuma Bwaka was or is the current chairman who abandoned his post or so forth. What is your take?
Well, Moses, it's a difficult. Liberia is is at a crossroad. It's very so difficult to see what is happening. In the opposition. It's sad. It's frustrating. It's unfortunate, but it's I mean it's where you find it's the way in which our political foundation is being spirited. So is not surprising, even though it's unfortunate, it's sad, but it's not surprising because we don't have institutions with values in the country, especially our political institutions. So Joseph Borga leaving the CPP is not a surprise. But yeah, is the thing though, they I don't know in recent memories, I don't know who you say you are chairman for political institution, you're a chairman for collaboration, and then you decide to say, well, leaving that particular institution in the crisis, and you just say, well, I'm leaving the institution, I'm leaving it, and you stay chairman though. So he stayed chairman of the CPP. Remember now, since he took over the chairmanship of the CPP, up to the time that he announced his exit, the Unity Party exit from the CPP, he stayed chairman. Even up to this day, he stayed chairman of the CPP, right? Because the legal, like you said, the legal framework that banned all of them together, there has to be a way to get out. So if you didn't follow that process and you came and just had one press conference and you say, well, I'm out of the CPP, it still doesn't justify you out of the CPP except you follow the legal framework, that removes you from out of the CPP, right? But that beside the point, and Moses, you know, the Liberian people were very clear, that we have a history in every elections as far as I can remember, in every elections there have been almost 20 or 21 political parties, and each of these political parties, I mean, candidates will come and then they know that they're not going to win, right? But it will just flood the process, and it makes it difficult for the good candidates to be able to make it to the second round or to put up a good candidate. So the Liberian people, were resolved going to the 2023, said, you know what? I think the political party need to come together. It was a consensus among the Liberian people that they need to come together and put forth a candidate so that we can go to the process confused about who to vote for. Because whether you like it or not, each of these candidates, whether they got 0.12% or 0.01%, they still have people who are loyal to them, right? They still have people but some, our countries that we got relationship with your cousin, your nephew, nieces and nephew, extended family, all of these things, people, whether you're a candidate, you go out tomorrow, Moses, even if you want to be president tomorrow, you go out tomorrow, people will support you. Even if you're not qualified, you don't have the money, but you say, want to be president, people will support you. I leave right tomorrow. So it's the fact that people understand, that each person who goes into the process, they will get support some way, somehow. Whether it's that support is sufficient enough to qualify them to the second round, that's another conversation, right? But history has proven that most of these political parties, have had, 0.01% support and all of these things and so forth. So the Liberian people were very clear after the 2017. The only way to and it became more clearer when George Weah started performing, someone looting the country, people being killed, the ups and downs in the country, insecurity, the economic condition of the country became worsening by the day, our kids are being raped, all of these things, all the issues that will continue to confront our people on a daily basis kind of fueled into the decision, say, listen, I think for all you guys to defeat this George Weah, the CDC, they need to come together. And so political parties started to come together. And that was even far more demonstrated when the people decided to say, well, 2020, we're going to show to the CDC that what we told you got to sign up for, will validate that number in 2020 through the senatorial by-elections. And they did. They supported the CPP, and the CPP won the elections. How did we get to where we are as CPP, and the ramification thereafter? That's what we're dealing with right now. It's the ego of all of these people who came together, especially the Unity Party and the Yombi and Delon Kim and the Ure, who came together and say, whatever the situation is. You remember they made a comment that Liberian people say, whatever the situation is, we must stick together, we must hold together. I remember that conference they held at the Liberty Party office with at time the late Councillor Brunson was alive, and they said whatever they did, whatever will happen, they will stay together in the interest of the country. Look at where we are today. So it's just sad, but the fact is. Yeah, careful. You okay? Hold on, man. Come here. Hold on, man. Little just fell.
Well, while the chairman takes care of the situation over there, yes, indeed, based on what the chairman was saying, he will be reconnecting with us in a minute or two here. Based on what he was saying, it's evident that the CPP, which might not be the focus of the conversation here today, but we're trying to establish the foundation, the basis for how we got here, what brought us here, and where we may be headed. Because it is important for us to also take into consideration how we got here. We didn't just wake up and got where we are today. And I go back as far as maybe the child stealer or the war or the dot time. I mean, I would go back as far as that, to be very honest. And many of us, tall men, tall about time, or so forth, might not have been born at time, or many of us, especially in the tall man era, might have been younger, or so forth. But you can tell from our history that things started to brew, things started to go wrong. This is not coincidental. This is not, something that just happening. There were signs and signals and so forth that led us to where we are today, and have made us to probably be who we are to some extent. So what this means for us is, if we were to look back, I'd like to start from the Dole era, 1980, the coup or so forth. Fast forward, you have a bunch of young people, indigenous young men, who decided to take over the country, inexperienced, with military backgrounds, took over the country, and they decided to listen. There's a correlation here. There's a link here. These guys took over the country and killed people for corruption, quote unquote rampant corruption, pretending to the Liberian people that they wanted to liberate the Liberian people. They come there, they become worse in their corruption. So we've seen this thing before. Fast forward, once the chairman is seated, we can see him from here, from the back end. Once he's seated, and ready and signals us, we'll definitely bring him back on. So okay, I think the chairman is ready here. Yes. Yeah. Chairman, just before you got the situation that happened back there.
Yeah, my little girl, yeah, she ran down the stairs and she got tripped too also. But she's good. She's okay.
All right, thank God. Yeah, so yes, any other thought, please?
Yeah, man. So like I was saying, man, it's the Liberian people, it's like the people, like I was saying, the people have put their interest and put their support behind the CPP, demonstrated through the 2020 senatorial by-elections, that they were what they told the opposition political parties to do, to come together. They wanted to demonstrate to them that yes, they were prepared they meant well for that particular process. So they kind of justified that, and that 2020 by supporting all of the candidates that the CPP put forward, right, under Alex Cummings' leadership, right, and the CPP won by why imagine all of the candidates that she put forward, right? And the CDC became very confused. I mean, right after the elections, they started to embark on the county tour and all the kind of things because they knew that what was happening, the CPP was they were together. So anything on the contrary, if the city didn't do anything, that would have further put them in the jeopardy, right, going to 2023. So immediately after the 2020 elections, guess what? They started going to various counties, started doing county tours and all the kind of different things, doing all kind of jingles on radios and all the kinds of things, right? So, but then, the people who made a commitment to Liberian people, could not live up to the commitment. They promised the Liberian people that we stay together, we will remain together, in spite of whatever condition that comes our way as political parties under this umbrella, we stay together because that's what you Liberian people want for us to do. We stay together. And guess what? They backtrack on that commitment, right? They disappointed Liberian people. After months, after years, since 2017, the elections, up to the time the party exited the CPP, right? They've demonstrated that they can't keep that commitment to the Liberian people. So I'm not even sure, those who live in the CPP, the Unity Party, the URA, so I'm not even sure how can they even keep that, that commitment when they become president of the country or eventually they become leaders of the country. If you can't keep your commitment to the Liberian people, so I mean that the people wasted that time from 2017 up to the time that they left the CPP. They wasted all their time behind the CPP, right? Because they thought that the CPP would have been a vehicle for them to use, to defeat George Weah and the CDC come 2023. But what we're seeing right now, Steve, is Moses, it's disappointing. It's disappointing because the people invested their time and resources, their energy. Imagine the people all the time they invested in 2020 to say we'll demonstrate to the CDC that we mean well. What we told them that they push opposition to come together. Yes, we demonstrate that we've shown to the CDC and the world that if they united, they can defeat George Weah, and we are behind them to support them. That dream has become completely, out of the window.
So Chairman, is it more likely so that some members of the opposition lied to the Liberian people per what you're saying?
Absolutely, yes. Joe Burger lied to the Liberian people. URA, of course, the thing about it is sad that for URA, we all know that URA has, a character deficit issue. He has a problem, right? But because, they were all, the Liberian people said, look, what you got excess baggage or what you got problem or what you got criminal issues, you got this, that, whatever the problem were, right? They'll come together under one umbrella. Nobody is problem free, but they come together under one umbrella. So it's sad that the people who were the problems, who were perceived to be the problems in the CPP or in the different political parties, are the ones that not demonstrating that they are the problem in the CPP. Take for instance, URA, we know. URA doesn't have the numbers. Nobody, the brand people want it. People say, but why you Ellis coming in and collaborating with criminals? No, but why the brand people want it?
And that would have been my next question to you though.
Right.
Why did Alex Cummings waste all this time?
And some of us, and that's a genuine question, right? Moses, that's a genuine question. Some of us, feel that, listen, I won't person took issue with Alex Cummings and the ANC. I'm not an ANC member, but I empathize with ANC and I support Mr. Cummings, right? But I said, there's no need. I told them from the beginning, build the institution, build the ANC, build the institution, and even if you don't contest in 2022, if you contest, you don't win, you will still have a future ahead to be able to build a formidable institution, right? A credible, formidable institution, because we don't have that in the country, right? But fast forward, we've already passed that stage. The Liberian people wanted a collaboration. So if Ellis had stayed out, it would be there. Hold on one second. Why is it that Liberian people are demanding and Ellis Committee stays out of the process? So he had no option but to go there and collaborate, and that's exactly what he's been doing. So United Party, for instance, right? The people just wrecked the country for 12 years. 12 good years. They led the country with the billions of dollars that went in the country. See the country today, our healthcare system remains a mess. See our educational system remains nothing compared to anything in West Africa, right? So we have, after 12 years, the people, depleted our country resources with the level of foreign direct investment that went into the country. They didn't do anything much with it, and to go, you thought that the United Party would be would be humble going into the CPP, would be humble because the way they wrecked the country for 12 years, they'll be humble. With his criminal, with his background, and of course, what the kind of person he is, and all these records around the globe, you think that he goes to the CPP will be humble, but no, these are the people who are now creating problem in the country, in the CPP, creating problem. So you see where we come from,
Chairman Donald. So then, and we'll move past this conversation, but I want to make sure we establish some facts here and push you on some issues here. So then where does that leave? Considering Senator Yumbi Kanga Lawrence has maybe 8 more years. She was elected for 9 years. Senator Dara Dillon has similar 8 years or 9 more years. How does that affect them? How does that impact them or the political soul joining?
Well, here's the thing, Moses. The thing about it is that, they may have 9 years, they may have 8 years, right? The year go by so quick. The only danger is that our country, our people are gullible, and our voters, there has to be a proper civic education to our voters, right? To know that, to see that, so they can be able to do, vote right and take the decision that is needed in the interest of the country, right? But these guys are sitting for 12 years. 8 years now, so they don't care. Dillon, for instance, doesn't care. All the lies that Dillon has told all around the place, he continue to do the same thing, continue to, right now, if you to order in it's sad in Moses to talk about these things. But imagine Paula Dillon, who came and made a public announcement that I would reduce my salary and give it to, to the ordinary Liberians, and to do well. Since last 2 years, a year and a half ago, have you heard anything? Have you ever had a press conference and say, because every month he's gonna have a press conference to give the money over to the county and development and council. Have you heard anything about that? No. Are the people going to judge him for that? Well, that remains a question. Because our people are used to this kind of thing, right? They seem very Dillon. They seem very pricey. It's a lot. You would think that Dillon, of all people, wrote on the CDC, on the CPP back, we would say, you know what? Joe Braga, Ellis Comey, you're not going anywhere. If you take any step to say you're going for the CPP, I will mobilize the Liberian people against you. You would think that the guy will be the king's maker, making a decision, going out there and think this team must hold. I don't care what you do, because he said it from the beginning, before he got elected. The CPP must hold. Guess what? Out of ego, out of power play, out of selfishness, out of, today, he says not a single word. People leaving the CPP. United Party leaving the CPP. You were leaving the CPP. He said not a single word. That guy would have been the king's maker. That guy would have been the person who said, you know what? Nobody leaving the CPP until you can resolve it, because that's what you promised the Liberian people. Where is Dillon? Where is the Dillon? Where is he?
So, Chairman, just before we move any further, one could play the devil advocate and say, well, what's wrong with the chairman? The chairman supported Senator Dara Dillon. Would you support Senator Dara Dillon should he run the next term for office?
Bro, I have said it repeated times on my Facebook page, and I've said it to friends who've called me. Some friends have called me, oh man, you got a problem with Dillon. What the problem, man? We know we need to intervene. I said, man, listen, my thing is, I don't have problem with individual. I can support you. But if I support you and you betray my interest, you betray the people's interest. You betray the people's interest, right? I could sit in America and care less about Liberia politics. But it's our country. We can't turn our backs. We got to be able to support our people back home so that our country can be like Ghana, Tanzania, other places. We can go back home and we carry little, Kenya there to invest. We can invest that in peace and sit down. I can call Steve. I say, Steve, man, where are you? Come to the house and let's, have a drink and something like that. Let have a drink. It's the fact that we want to have a peaceful country and a democratic, a country that will have a better leader that will develop the country. That's why our people can be beggars years and years out. Did you see what happened to Spoon when the guy went back home? People going into bed with him. Yeah, he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. But our people are used when you go out, you leave this country, you go to Liberia, people won't come to your doorstep, be begging you. We can't continue to give our people handout and become beggars in our own country as a sovereign nation for all these years. So to answer the question directly, I have said people want to end up being. I don't want to personal problem with DeLong, but the guy lies too much, and he had deceived the Liberian people for what he was elected for. Right? There's a man who said you're not going to build fence around your house was denying the people who elected you and so forth. Go to Banaville. The man fence is almost all the way on top of the house. Go to Banaville. You ought to see DeLong house nowadays. The man who has one in fence. Right? So people come and pretend and get elected. That doesn't fly with me. So DeLong myself supporting, I can never support DeLong for any janitorial position in that country. Not a janitorial position in that country. I cannot, because the guy is a scammer, and so to support him, no. I just wish that after the 9 years he will use whatever money he get from the Liberian people, to be able to do better for himself. But I'm not even sure, because when you talk to people on the ground, they tell you something different. But they say, listen, they got deceived all of us. My Oma, my mom, she was one person who was dancing for the long. I called Oma. Oma said, "Don't bring that man into me. I don't hear it. Don't bring that man into me. I don't want to hear it." Not just men, not just her, many other persons. So to answer the question directly, no, not even for a janitorial position. And the same thing with the Henry Costa man. I would never support that guy with just even a kitchen, a kitchen job, because these guys are dangerous for the country. We didn't know. I didn't know DeLong was dangerous for the country until he got elected. So to support another man that resembles DeLong, I can never do that.
Okay, well, you wouldn't support Senator Darius DeLong for another senatorial seat and so forth come 8 years. Anything will change within the next 8 years. You never know. Maybe things could happen and so forth. But here is another question on this whole CPP saga before we move forward into other national conversation and the CDC and the ANC and so forth. Who do you think would collaborate with the Unity Party going forward, considering they've said they're leaving the CPP? What do you think might be the next step? Understanding this Unity Party that
the question is a good question. It speaks to our political system. It speaks to the people who are heading our political institution in the country, right? It's not based upon ideas. It's not based upon genuineness. It's not based upon policy. People who whether Joe Biden can articulate the policy of the country, whether he prepared for prime time. It's not. Most of the political parties are not going to base their decision on that. What they're going to be doing is that how they can get fitted in, and then when Joe wins or whoever wins game, they can get a job. So it's not about can this man serve the country, or can he provide? Can he be able to provide the kind of leadership the country needs? That is the critical question. Are they prepared? Are the political party prepared to answer those who are going to go out there? Are they prepared to answer the question? Absolutely not. So it's about, let me go there, please, because I know that they're going to win, or let me go to that place, they're going to win. So these political parties, they are out there, give little or something to them. They prepare to come on board and they prepare to support in the process. So it's a sad thing, but that's a reality. And I hope that more, the ANC can also begin to go after these different political parties, even if they have 0.01%, if they have 0.5%, or they have 0.02%, or 0.45%. All these people, you can put all those percentage together. 45, it can make up a conservative number. So it's about going out for them and talking to them, having conversation with them to come and join you in the process and support you. But our system is such that you don't have a genuine institution that can say, even though I have 0.04%, but can you deliver the country? Do you have a policy agenda that can drive my support, that can drive me to support you in the process? or are they prepared to ask the critical questions that brought us on the country's interest and our people's interest? If that is the case, then we can say we have genuine institution. But all of the guys we have, even those that be coming out and make up the list of people to support, they don't have, they're not going to ask the critical question. They just want to be fitted in and get job at the end of the day. So it's going to be, do I support him to get job at the end of the day, or do I just suffer for another 6 years, or do I just sit back and relax? So that is the critical thing we're going to look at.
So I want to pivot to the ANC. You say you are a supporter of Mr. Cummings and you sympathize with the ANC at large. My question to you now is, how do you convince Dillon's supporters, some of them, how do you convince the university students who might have heard, and other Liberians who might have heard over the most recent time, that Mr. Cummings changed the document? I'm not going to use that funny little words that I use because I think it's inappropriate. That Mr. Cummings did something to the document, and this public image of Mr. Cummings, which seemed to be whether that tarnishing his reputation, making him to look, people say criminal defendant, people say this, people say that. How do you change that narrative? What do you say to them?
Well, the thing about it is that and I'll be brutally honest, right? The narrative among our people has gradually changed, right? Our people understand that what is at play is about denying an individual who wants to change the system, right? Who wants to bring Mr. Cummings, by all means, is not perfect. He's never going to be perfect, right? But he has a drive to change the system. So the system now is fighting back. So that's where the problem is. If the good thing is the Liberian people understand, they know exactly what is at play, right? But the Liberian people knowing what is at play should not give the ANC and Mr. Cummings and the supporter like myself and other people the complacency to not be engaging, right? They have to, the ANC and everybody, that's what I said the other day, and I've been engaging a lot of the folks in Liberia and Liberia across the country, right? How do we consistently engage, the Liberian people in terms of the policy decision, in terms of the policies that Cummings has for the country, what he wants to do? We got to consistently engage. We got to go out there, talk to the university students, talk to the various schools, high schools, community college, universities, go to the different hotel shop, go to the different slums areas, engage Cummings. If they want to keep Mr. Cummings out of the counties, he's in Moserado, get him engaged in Moserado. Take him to the hotel shop, take him to the different slum community, take him to the streets. Let him engage the people on the different policy issues. Let him make his policy known to the Liberian people. Let him continue to engage the people. Let him take a street walk. Let him go to the ghetto and engage our people. Let him do that. Let them be able to roll out a strategy to be able to consistently engage our people from now to around August, because that is important. Because now you have with holding everything constant. Yeah. Okay, Mama, I'm coming. Okay. And so holding everything constant, right? But we want Cummings to go to the second round, right? And to do that, all of these people you talk about, we have to be consistently engaged. If we engage our people, all of the different sectors of our people, all the different areas of our people engage in, and inform them of Cummings' policy, what he wants to do, what is it that he wants to do in the interest of the country. All of these things will help. Remember now, Cummings came, third place? Yeah, fourth place, right? With 7.2%, right? 7.2%. He came 7.2%, right, of the vote. So if he came 7.2% with a total vote of 112,067, I think 112,067, and next to Liberty Party, right? Defeated Uri, defeated my family, defeated all of the different people who have been in our political process for decades and decades, right? That tells that, he's appealing. I'm not even talking about of the recent road that he's made in terms of the different counties and so forth. You can't even ask why he has accrued over the year, what he has done in the different counties, right? So what we're seeing is that It's possible. All of these people, we just have to, the ANC, we have to consistently engage our people on the policy issue. What he wants to do in the interest of the country for our people, what he wants to do that is different from what all the other people want to do, because George doesn't have anything. But of course, the party doesn't talk. So he stands a better chance in terms of the policy issue and the bread and butter issue that our people are faced with, and how can he solve those issues?
So I'd like to pivot. I'd like to pivot a little bit to the CDC, and then we'll talk about the country at large. Considering we've touched most of, whether that the citizens, we've touched the different political parties or leaders or so forth. I want to pivot to the CDC. Most recently, we've read, heard, and seen the move of sanctions, or maybe promise of targeted sanctions or so forth. What does that say to you about the Weah-led government? Are they in trouble? Is there a problem ahead of them? What does that say to you?
Look, I would say this, and there's some things we're not going to say, but we got friends at different levels, different levels in DC and other places that we talk to. We know that it's coming, and the guys, I like the CDC folks. They don't take anything serious, or they hit the fence, then they start crying. The communists, they want to set up, people things in DC to run after the government, this and so forth and so on. But it's coming, and that's why the people, use the word targeted sanction, because they know that there are people in the government who involved in the money laundering, who involved into corruption at different levels, who have siphoned money in different accounts into their relatives' accounts all over the country and so on. So they know that. So even if you have a nephew and say, "Oh, I'm not going to deposit money in somewhere in my bank account, I'm going to put in my cousin account," you're wasting your time. Your cousin could be in trouble. So you better not consume it, because if he's been having $1,000 in your account, and all of a sudden you got $50,000, you got $100,000 in your account, the people want to know, how did it get there? Who put it there? What do you do to have that money in your account? So the people are watching. They know. They see everything. They track every movement. One of my friends said, "Listen," he said, and the sad thing is, they don't even know. Some of these very people are on social media. They are active. Some of the people are on social media. They monitor. They follow our posting. They follow the activity and all of these things. They are on Instagram. They are all on the different platforms. The people who have been paid for the State Department, who follow all of these different posting, who follow all the different activities. They know. Besides their own investigative and mechanism at the State Department level, at the the embassy level, all the kind of things and so forth, they know. They know who are the guys who taking the money. They know how George Weah, siphon the country money. They know how Nathan McGill, all the guys are, stealing the country money. How they are. They know the justice system, how it's polluted with corruption. They know all of these things. It's no secret. So if they say they're targeting different transactions, I will tell you, I can't wait for it. I'm beat up. I'm hoping, all of the news that we're hearing, I'm just hoping that it falls before the election, so that people can understand that when you go in government and public service, it's about public service. It's not about going to public service and looting the country resources while majority of our people remain poor. You know what I'm saying? So that's all for me. I'm looking forward to it. I think that is long overdue, but I'm looking forward to it.
I think, for the record's sake, I think Cummins came fifth in the past election.
Yeah.
Per the record.
He came fifth.
Fifth in the past election.
Yeah, fifth.
Yeah, but let's stick with the CDC-led government, considering most recently we've seen a style of mob justice from the citizens, the increase of crimes in different communities and so forth. We've heard and read of burnings of alleged criminals. We call them maybe rogues or thieves. In articles, they call them bandits and so forth. My question to you is, what does that say about the security system in the country?
Moses, when the people become fed up, when the people become tired, when the people don't see any hope in their leaders, they tend to take the mantle of authority into their own hands. Right? Few months ago, I grew up in Logantown. I went to school in Logantown. A few months ago, the Bramble, I used to walk from my house from Bannington to Bramble Yard. And the two boys, I'm very familiar with them because I taught one of their brothers in St. Edwards when I was there, when I was in the country. Right? These two boys got missing. Mysteriously. Today, we don't even know the whereabouts of these kids. The government is yet to provide anything about where the kids were. The man who took those kids, invited those kids, see Moses, he runs around in the country. In fact, the government rewards him with contracts. They gave him Mambutu Yimpa. The first contract they gave him when they in the heat of that crisis was to imbibe Mambutu Yimpa. They let Mambutu Yimpa, the former public minister. Okay? So, fast forward, the auditors that died, the auditors that were on the motorbike that got killed, we have not heard anything about it. The two auditors that got found dead in the car, we have not heard anything about it. And the other guy who from the other, what's the name of the place, fell from that story again, like he fell from the banister and fell and died and so forth. We have not heard anything about it. All of these deaths in the country, people are insecure. People don't see any hope in their security. Do you think that they will sit down and don't take any action? When the government who's supposed to provide security for its citizens fails, what happens? The people take the mantle of authority into their own hands and provide security for themselves. That is when the president said that people should buy security camera and put in their home, even though you were not paying civil servant to have that opportunity to go buy security, and made a mockery of the Liberian people. The people themselves say, you know what? We're taking security in our own hands. We know we're not safe. So whatever comes out, we will do whatever is necessary to save ourselves and our family. That's what happened in the country. When the government, who takes the taxpayer money to provide security for the people, fail to provide security, the people themselves can be their own security. And that's what you see in the country. Okay. That's what you see in the country.
Okay, so the people are taking matters into their hand, protecting themselves, as the president maybe recommended. Because
obviously, if the president recommended that by going buy security and be your own security, I mean, if the government has proven since she came to power 2017, she has proven not to provide security for its citizens, the people themselves they would be their own security. That's what happened in the country. And don't be surprised, there'll be more of that. Don't be surprised, because the people will not sit there. The women, our mothers and our fathers and our brothers and sisters won't sit there and their brothers and sisters are being murdered, our sisters are being raped, and they will not do anything about it. They would certainly take on the government. They would certainly go and say, you know what, organize vigilante for themselves, and if anybody intrude into their communities, go and rape their girls, our sisters and our daughters, they will certainly take the amount of authority and murder whoever comes their way. That's what happened in the country. It's not a surprise.
Interesting, I didn't see it that way as to the president, because when we say some of these things, people think that we hit the government, we hit the president, but those are irresponsible and reckless statements. If people cannot afford CCTV or whatever camera that the president proposed or suggested that the Liberian people should get to enhance or ensure their security, what else can they do? Maybe they go to, not everybody can afford, people barely have food to eat. How in the world can you tell them to go and get CCTV or whatever it is? So then why do we have the state security and so forth?
Even the man doesn't have it. The man can't afford the CCTV. Guess what? If he can buy the callers that cost $5 US, he goes to City Bread and buy the callers. He keeps that in his house. Or they can come in the community and say, well, the community, they can't afford the CCTV. Guess what? We'll just organize a few group of guys and just buy some callers and give it to them. Anybody comes in the community want to infringe on the right of our girls and our people here, we'll chop you up to death. Is that a way to go? Absolutely not. But what is the government doing? The man who's supposed to provide security for the country, he stands up and says that everybody should be their own security and buy CCTV and put it in the house. The people who don't have CCTV, how are they going to provide? How are they going to be their own security? Well, if I can't afford to buy CCTV and put it and pay monthly subscription, guess what? I'll go in the store and buy callers or whatever I can buy to save my family. Anybody who comes there and want to infringe my right, I will defend myself against whoever that comes my way, or who wants to infringe on my daughter or my wife or whatever. I will defend myself. That is the issue. If a government fails, the people fill in the gap and become their own. It became their own defense mechanism. It became their own security. So that's what we have in the country.
Well, that's where we are. So the president gave the cue, and the people follow it, or so forth. Okay,
Exactly.
that's an interesting point. I didn't see, I didn't see it from that perspective. I want to get your take on the bicentennial most recently. We're yet to see any report of the earnings. Ghana earned a lot of money from their bicentennial, or the year in return, however you want to term it, but they earn a lot of money. I don't want to speculate the figures here, but I know it was probably around a billion or so. And that made it very interesting for them. We have not heard any report of the bicentennial celebration or whatever they had or activities. So the question becomes now, what is your take on this whole bicentennial celebration? Was it necessary the way it was done? How
The thing about it is that it's sad that how the whole process was planned out. I don't know, and that's why I question the project manager who was given the responsibility to organize this program, right? I don't know what strategy they came up with, but I think it was a poor planning, and I think they did not do well to have attracted the kind of investment opportunity that they should have attracted. Remember now, Liberia is the oldest African country. Liberia is the oldest African country, right? And so most of these countries, got independence after Liberia gained her independence, right? So I thought that I would have seen a display of getting more diaspora Liberians involved, and making sure that some of the artists and some of the celebrities here in the States, in Canada and other places, would have had a serious conversation with these people to see how they contribute to the country, right? And to see how we can be able to attract the kind of tourism that is most needed in the country. But because the first thing is that they planned the program, they even said that they left out even the opposition that was in the country. They planned the program. It was a later when issue was raised before they started sending letter out to these people. Okay, so that just only tells you the kind of mindset that people had. It was just not about planning the program to hear the kind of dividend that it should have that it should have gotten from the whole program or from the whole project, right? But they did it such that I don't know whether they didn't follow all of people like Ghana, what they did, because what Ghana did was she got the diaspora Liberians and diaspora Ghanaians involved into the planning process, right? They had a whole ceremony, they had a whole program. Imagine the Ghanaians, Nancy Pelosi was in Ghana, where a whole delegation of the Black Caucus were in Ghana for the celebration, right? So if you got a speaker of the House of the U.S. paying a visit, for the bicentennial in Ghana with others, statements and representatives and senators, it tells you about the planning process. Nobody needs to tell you about how the planning process went about. It tells you about the planning process, what the people did in the planning process. They got the people involved in the States, all of the Ghanaians, who were living in the diaspora, they got involved. Everybody came home. Some of the Ghanaians who are superstar in America, other places, they got involved and talked to their counterparts who were celebrating in America. They had to talk to them. People at Tia, they went back home. Tia went home. Steve Harvey, all the guys that went home, and they were able to buy condos. They were able to, buy lands over there and so forth, But our people, they just planned it among themselves. Seditions, yes, it was just among seditions and planned it among themselves. And you can't get results, especially when your country, when there are being news about killing the country, unresolved deaths in the country and stuff like that. I thought you would have gotten people involved to get people and show people, even the promo that George Weah did was poorly done. The promo he did and did it on the same calling Liberia and so forth and so on. It was poorly done. So it just tells you the kind of people in leadership and the mindset they have, and you have the kind of people in leadership and the kind of mindset they have, you're not going to achieve anything. You're not going to get anything. So it tells you, imagine Ghana with billions of dollars generated. And not just that, but people went and they bought land, they bought condos. People, the business, the economy in Ghana during the year of return, he did a lot of dividends and he did good results. But our people here, I'm not even sure whether they're going to get, maybe let's say $50 million out of the entire process. And I'm not even sure they're going to get that in the first instance. We kudos to them that they had a program organized, but it was not well planned. And so I don't expect to get the kind of dividend that it should have gotten, with such a big program, with such a historic program that it should have gotten billions of dollars. Just keep man alone. They would have done a tour, right? To some of the different sites, like Cape Mount, like Cape Palmas, all the different places that got in Bon County, Batawi Waterfall. Carry people that do a tour, because it was in Moserado, right? But all of our different beautiful places like Batawi, like Cape Palmas, like Cape Mount, all different places that got a potential site for investment opportunity, they would have done a tour. None of that happened, right? And then our artists, our artists who have been struggling for years, who have been struggling to make their mark on an international stage and so forth, they've been trying. All of the guys are so bucket roll. All the guys who have been trying to make that effort without any support, right? It was the time for the government to showcase, bring in these stars, bring in TR, bring in P Square. Then they sit down. It's not time for them to perform. They should have sat down and listened to our artists. How can he help these guys? How can he expose these guys' potential, their talents? Okay, they would have brought in other celebrities from the States here in Canada. Let us sit down and see our local stars and see their performance, and see their talents, and see how they can be able to help these people to be able to hit the international stage. But you go bring people, you go be having a historic program, 200 years of celebration. Then you go bring a P Square to go perform on the stage. What is that? Why you erode the essence of the historic program? You can't do that. See, that man is a legend already. What do you want from him? To entertain the crowd, or you trying to send a historic message so that at the end of the day, people can come in and help these artists to be able to make the kind of mark they ought to make on the international scene, just as P Square are now, right now. But you bring in and get in $150,000, and then you give our artists nothing. Then they go back to wherever they have to go back, and our artists stay and they stay in Liberia and struggle. It's unfortunate, but it's the kind of mindset of people who are leading the country right now. So I'm not surprised at the kind of planning process they did to the bicentennial, and the kind of poor planning they did, and the kind of result they're going to get. I'm not surprised at that.
Well, that's a good point. Before we get to the next question here, that's a good point you made, and I'd like to elaborate on it a little bit more. I think I agree with you that the planning or the strategy surrounding the whole bicentennial, first of all, was poor. The timing also, in my honest view, was poor. There was a disconnect with the diaspora Liberians. I think it was solely restricted to a CDC confined conversation that they wanted to have, then a national conversation. I also think that they were stingy. They didn't invest. Let me put it in Liberian way. They didn't invest into the publicity, into sharing it. You go and pay William Martins, I don't know how much money, but you want to come and say, SKTV and other stations should talk about the bicentennial because they love Liberia or whatever it is. Okay, fine. But you're paying somebody else to do similar work though. Or, it don't make any sense. There is no sense in it. You have Liberians here that have platforms or whatever it is. At most, they could have reached out to them, organize, and if they want to do it voluntarily, that's fine. But nothing as such was done. Nothing that ever done. We had an ambassador here who we interviewed, and he talked about the bicentennial and so forth. Apart from that, that's the only person we heard about it from. We've never gotten any emails from anyone else or any kind of information to talk about. So, but they expect you to talk about, okay, what do we say about the bicentennial? What do we come and say? We don't know your plannings. We don't know what's going on. No resource was made available to us to say, you're sharing one or you're sharing one on your platform, whatever it is. Some things are national cause. We would disagree on other issues, but when it comes to national cause and so forth, we're Liberians. We will help. We're willing to help. But this issue of being proud because you don't sing praises to the government or you don't suck up to the president, so people want to isolate you or people want to make it look like you're not Liberian because you don't. I'm seeing somebody writing, you're bad mouth the country all day. So listen, let me say this to all of us. Let me just be honest with all of us. This bicentennial issue, first of all, y'all made it look like George Weah. It's not about George Weah. It's not about George Weah. George Weah was about 50 some more years old. So about 150 years before he was even born or less, the country existed. So this is not about George Weah. You made this about, you're just, it was very disgraceful and shameful. You made yourself to look like a bunch of, I don't know how to call it, but people that don't know, that have no sense of direction. We are talking about celebration and celebrating our religion. Instead of showing our culture, you have these different people passing around with beret and CDC flag parading. What does that supposed to mean? What does that supposed to mean with George Weah picture, all these things? What does that really supposed to mean though? What sense does it make? So that some people got down there, like, come on now.
And you said it right. Imagine. Yeah, baby, I'm coming. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. You did a great job. Okay, I'm coming. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm coming. So this is the thing. I promise you, I have my own fundamental issue with Ellen, right? Because the way she handled the country and all the resources she got didn't match her whatever she did in the country. So I got my own problem with Ellen. But had it been Ellen on Ellen administration handling the Bassetana, I promise you, it would have been a whole different ball game. And guess what? You go pay people. Ronald Martin is my boy. Don't get me wrong. Ronald Martin, I love the guy. He's a good guy, right? But you go pay him, the man got on a podcast. And you're having America, the relationship between Liberia and America, traditionally, you thought that, you will make, you have people on CNN, MSNBC, pay you guys some good money. That put our individual pride or where we have what we have individually on our political front, our individual political differences. Put aside, this is a historic celebration. And that historic celebration is not just historic, but it was meant to also attract good investors to the country. Invest people to come to the country and explore other opportunity. Because Liberia is still a virgin island in terms of tourism and other different opportunities, right? Even though our image scare a lot of people to go there in terms of the depth, the unresolved debts in the country and all that kind of thing, our justice system. Because when anybody going in the country to go invest, the first thing any investment going to look at, they're going to pull your scorecard from all the different credible institutions like the World Bank and like the IMF, all the different institutions, Amnesty International, all the different institutions. See what's going to happen, what happened in the country before they can bring that money here. So if you wanted a successful program, get people to come, flow in there and just observe and so forth, then they can begin to think about it. There may not be direct, instant investment to go there to decide they're going to invest at the moment, but they just think about, okay, I think I can invest in Liberia, right? But you left SKTV, right? You left Spoon TV, right? You left all the different institutions who are making strides, who are talking about Liberia every single day. You left them. Right? And you go pay somebody $150,000 or $200,000, $300,000, who just come and sit there and make a statement and go back. It has no impact. You didn't make an appearance on MSNBC, on Spoon, on CNN, on SKTV, the ambassador came in and made a statement. That was all to it. What they did, and then promo, like jingles for you got to carry on for the ambassador, nothing like that. So the guys in the information ministry, that's why I always tell them, my friend and brother, Bugger for Fun, and they sit over there, collect free taxpayer money and do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. All they do is they want to be propagandists for the government. They want to be, they want to be a cheering squad for the government. Whatever Joria says, they clap. Everybody clap and move forward. That's what they do. That's what they do. In terms of proper dissemination of information to the public about the bicentennial, how they can get other people involved, put our political differences aside. But this is about Liberia. How can we come together and make this program a success so that at the end of the day we can be able to attract investors to come invest in the country so that our people can stop suffering? That would have been the mindset. But no, they think that when you invite, they come to SKTV, you know, the fact you can square to say the issue as it is, you know, and don't bad boy on the issue, you know, and don't defend Judge we are on the bad policies and things. So they see us as an enemy to come invest in your program. They don't want to do it. So that's the thing. To invest in to see it, they want to do it. So it's a mindset. I want to tell you, and Moses, you see, it's about the people who are leading the country. If you have small-minded people who have small minds, if they lead in the country, that's what you get. You're not going to have people who say they're going to sit down to say, yeah, oh no, we got to invest in the country. We will do it for the sake of Liberia. Let's put our political differences aside. Even the main like George Weah, that's not an issue right now. But we're talking about the country, we're talking about the country's interest and the interest of the Liberian people. So whatever it takes to attract people to come and invest in the country, we're going to do that. We're not going to care about whether he likes George Weah or not. It's about the country's interest. No, the small-minded man is not going to do that. He's all going to be focused about how can we promote George Weah. All of the things, the past thing was about how can George Weah. Why do you think people would have done these things in a very vernacular? How far we've come. Give a historical background of how far Liberia. We ain't seen nothing like that. I didn't see anything like that on the different polls I've been on the different things I've been seeing. Right? Even some of the jingles that came over when poorly done. They didn't even go back to do editing, all the kind of things and so forth. You know, why it speaks, what are you talking about? They had a program about flag about the print George Weah picture and said launch instead of launching. So all these instead of launch, you know, all of these things. Why it tells you? It tells you about the kind of people who are leading the country, They're not focused about the interests of the country. They only focus about promoting one man, and that's George Weah. One man, only, and that's George Weah.
Well, that's thank you, Chairman. That's a little sad and concerning. We'll be opening the lines here momentarily. I know I've gotten 2 or 3 calls here from people that wanted to participate, but we'll be coming to the lines here very, 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 very shortly. But just before we get to the lines, I wanted to make sure that this is squarely inserted into our conversation. For those of you who support the government, who support the president, there's nothing wrong with it. It's your right. You have all rights to support the government or the president. Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. And I can say this, if President George Weah were to change his policies, start to focus on our people and get serious, I would support him. To be very honest, there's nothing personal. I would support him. To be very honest, I would support his government, I would support his presidency, and I would support his leadership. But I can't keep making some things up. I'm not good. I'm not made to make excuse for other people. I'm not. I don't know why I haven't reached that level. If you are at that level, that's fine. That's your choice. But I think I understand some things to not do that because I'm not able to defend other people's wrong. That's not my area. That's not what I do. I don't do that. I would be very bad at doing that if I were to do that. I would look so stupid and I would say something that does not make sense. I don't want to do that in public or so forth, or even in private. So we have policy disagreements. You know, some of us don't support the policy and how it's implemented of this government. Nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't mean that we hate the government or we hate president. We are so forth. We have to get that clear. We can't send a message to people thinking that we don't like the president or so forth. So some of you who are it was never about even inviting SKT, we're just making an example, but there are other people here that you could have invited. There are other people here that praise and worship you, that sing your song or whatever it is, they suck up to you. That's fine. That's what they choose to do too. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But we have to get serious. This is about a country when it comes to national issues. We have to ensure that we address national issue at that level. So, Chairman Dona, here is another question for you. Where do you think we're headed? Amidst everything that we've talked about
so before I come to that question, which is a very good question, and you said it right. You said it right, Moses. Honestly, I don't hate George Weah. I supported this man. I don't hate him. In fact, there's no hitting my bone for anybody. There's no hitting my bone. I'm not a perfect human being, but there's no hitting my bone for anybody. Right? I see it as I see it. I'm very opinionated. I say it. Even you can be my friend. You go, you slip off, I will call you to order. There are just some of us who our conscience cannot just allow us to be defending wrong. That's the bottom line. The same thing when you're doing wrong, your conscience just tell you say you're doing it. You're doing it, stop it. So for some of us, it just tells us that we can't continue to do wrong, or we can't continue to support people who are going to do wrong. Okay? So that is the problem with most of the things that people say, oh, yeah, man, yeah. One of the ministers reached out to me and said, my man, chairman, why you on the president every single time, man? Why you on the president every single time, man? Man, leave the president alone small, I beg you. I said, listen, I said, hey, you minister, right? You minister proper. Tell the president to do the right thing. Tomorrow morning, if the president starts doing the right thing in the interest of the country and our people, I promise you, I'll go right on a blue app, or when I call in, the people coming to interview in Liberia, I will speak good of the president. I will tell you that he's doing the right thing. I said, he's not a perfect human being, but the Liberian people expect the bare minimum for him to do it. And that's what all of us expect. Because I told him, I said, you know what? If the presidents are doing the right thing and creating job opportunities and people not being killed in the street, and the issue not resolved, guess what? Hey, okay? I said, what it does is that it keeps money in my pocket, right? It keeps money in my pocket because at the end of the day, I want to have people, calling me from back home. Things are tough. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do that. People being like, they're going to be employed. They're going to do their own. They'll be working. They earn money for themselves. They don't have to look for relatives and friends in America and Europe and other places to support them. They'll be independent of themselves and support their family and support themselves, right? So if he started to do the right thing, I was supporting. So the issue of you hate the president. No, I don't hate. There's no hate in my bone. Well, look, I will say this on your show, right? My brother, I came from a long way. I used to put a chicken soup on my shoulder, put it in the bag. The Ghana will go bag, put it on my shoulder, right? I go to look in the market, I distribute the chicken soup, I distribute the market cube. I go to Douala market, I distribute it. I go to Waterside, on foot, I distribute it. Then in the evening, I go home and I rest. In the evening, then I go collect my money to the different marketplaces. I used to go to look in the market, distribute. I go to Waterside, distribute. I go to Douala, distribute. Then in the evening, I go home around about 4 or 5 o'clock when they finish selling. Then I go collect my money from the marketeers. We struggle. We know the bad side of life. We know how life is difficult in Liberia. We know what it means to live in a country where there's no opportunity. We know. So when our friends and family over there, we know what they're going through. We know how tough it is. We know how they can fast food to eat. We know the tough time in our country. So when people come on social media and make mockery that, we hate the president, it pains some of us because if the president is doing the right thing, nobody's going to hate him. Nobody's going to ask him. Nobody's going to beat or pick on him. No. But if the man who is elected by the people is not doing the right thing, we as Liberians in the diaspora and have the opportunity and went through the same hardship our people are going through and have the opportunity to be in America, we will call upon the president to do the right thing every single day. Even if it causes us not to sleep, we will not sleep. But we call them out to do the right thing in the interest of the country. Because you know what? Liberia is too old of a country to be where it is. Ghana is making progress. Sierra Leone is making progress. Nigeria is making progress. They may have their issues, but they're making progress. Tanzania is making progress. Countries around West Africa, they're making progress. But Liberia is just stuck in reverse gear. She can't do anything because of corrupt politicians and bad leaders. We cannot continue on that path for as long as God wants it, as long as they want it. Okay? So that's so if they talk about, we hate president, I don't care what they can say, what they want to say. But God has brought me to a point where there's no hating my bone for anybody. When you don't do the right thing, I will call you out. Okay, but on your question, Moses, I tell you, man, let's keep talking. Let's keep talking these things because it's important. Liberia is at a crossroad. These elections coming, they are critical. And that is why some of us being in the country early next year for voter registration. It's critical. It's critical because we have to be part of the process. We have to ensure that our candidate comments is not perfect. Liberia is at this junction where we go, where we're heading nowhere. To answer your question directly, we're heading nowhere. If we don't make the choices, if we don't make the decision that ought to be made, Liberia is heading nowhere. And the reason I say that is, look at the country. Look at the country. When Ellen was there, we said, oh, when Ellen leaves, things will be better up. No, in fact, when Doe was there, we said, oh, Doe, you'll be better. When Taylor came, it became worse. Taylor had a boss, they had the money, they control money in the back of the truck, passing around, giving it to their girlfriends, their families, and all the kind of things, so for buying houses in America, Europe, and other places. When the international community finally grabbed it up by the boss and saying to the UK, when Ellen came there with all the billions of dollars, guess what she did? Her son, Robert Salih, looted the country. She also looted the country. She didn't even build one single library in the country for a reading room. She knows that children, the foundation of the kids in the country, in America, she lives in America. The kids go to the library to go read. They start an early foundation. That woman stay in the country 12 years. With all the money she got, she didn't build one library in the country. One reading room, she didn't build in the country. But she leaves the presidency and go build a personal library in the country. What I tells you. So the thing, it's just a repeat cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. Joshua comes there. Oh no, you thought it's the worst. Man go grab airplane. He go grab jet plane. You know, the country ain't got money. We even got airport, but the man go get private jet. He can get in there and go wherever he wants to go at the expense of taxpayer. At the expense of taxpayer. The man who play football, who got $1 million, he didn't use the money. He lavishes money on women and material things. He couldn't even manage. They said, what the people getting the opportunity. Some of us will blame ourselves today. We are part of the Liberian people, yeah, but we thought he would have done better. Today, he uses the Liberian people as a medium to live a flashy life, building condominium all over the place, buying cars, what you call it, putting his name on it, all that kind of thing, and so forth, at the expense of taxpayer. One thing that he could not even buy for himself when you are playing football, he buy it for himself at the expense of taxpayer. Somebody asked me, are we going forward? We're not making any progress. The only people that are making progress is Joshua and her cronies. Joshua and Nantana Magio in Logan Town, beyond Gibson Yard. Logan Town, where I live, that where Magio was living. That boy was sleeping in one room. He used to walk from vacant spot all the way to looking at cinema. Looking at cinema was a wall where his shoe lay on one side. That was Nathaniel Magay. Today he's the richest man in Liberia. He came as soon Joshua took office. Guess what the man did? The man went, he went and bought a house that cost almost $500,000. Moses, we're not making any progress. We're not making any progress. We're not making any progress. So for anybody else not making progress, look at the health system. Go to JFK. Go to JFK. People who take $30,000. You thought that when Dylan came and made all the stream out to us and so forth and so on, you'll be different. That you'll be different. And you ain't got no bed in the hospital. You ain't got no bed. You ain't got no DNA machine in the country. You ain't got no bed into all the different hospitals. Our school system, they're all leaking. Tell you the other day, the water was putting down. I'm going to call the police by zinc. The people are taking $30,000 each. $30,000 each. When they already had salary coming for them. So the same thing 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it's still happening. Legislators, tomorrow today, you see them walking the street, they actually they're hungry because the only means they knew was to steal from the Liberian people, so they don't even have anything of their own. They learn other people who came and told, or just a few months ago, they're doing the same thing. You gonna ask me why we're making progress? Why is Liberia? We're making no progress. Because a year from now, 2023, a new batch of people that come there, you think we're going to make progress? That's why every young people want to go in government because they see that as an opportunity, as a conduit, to be able to steal from Liberian people. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to go in the private sector. Everybody want to be represented in senators. Everybody want to represent a senator. Before anybody be able to represent a senator, do something in the community. Let people see that, oh yeah, the man has done something in the community. Don't go there and use the people. So, my brother, we're not making any progress. We're not making any progress. Because not because we're not fighting war now in the country, not because the guns are silent in the country. No. But the hunger you can see on the faces of our people. I know USA is experiencing every day. People coming in bars and begging for low henna and so forth. So you experience it every single day. Okay, so Liberia is not making progress. We stuck in reverse gear. It pains because the honest African country, the honest African country, is yet to make progress. It's not even showing any sign of making progress. Look at
Okay.
CPP today. Look at CPP today. Just to conclude, my brother, look at CPP today. Leaders who said they were in the interest of the people will not leave the CPP because of you people. The people say, yeah, we say you said it, we'll show you, we'll guarantee you, we'll vote for you 2020 to show that we are serious and behind you. The people demonstrate their love for the CPP. Today, the very people who made a commitment to the Liberian people, they're coming back because of greed for power. Greed for power. Nothing more than that. Greed for power. They are going, leaving the CPP like, that they didn't make any commitment to the Liberian people. And I just hope the Liberian people will hold them accountable. That the promise they made to the Liberian people will hold them accountable. So we're not making any progress, my brother. We're not making any progress.
We are not making any progress. Where are we headed? We're not making. Let me say this before we open the lines here. I'll put the number up, and the first two people that call me, I will definitely call them back. They will be the first on the list. But let me say this to all of us, and I want to be very clear on this because sometimes people misunderstand people. I want to be very clear. Someone wrote and said something here that's very interesting that does not even know me. But I think I know who this person is. Let me say this to you: when you don't know somebody, you don't know them, and that's okay for you to not know them. But I want us to be clear on something here, and that is the fact that the country is in a bad place, whether you like it or not. And I'll be emphatically clear: whoever I choose to support for the 2023 election, because at the end of the day, I have to make a decision who to support. I will support someone. Whoever I choose to support, it will be my right. And when I decide to support somebody, I'll make it known. I will. I will. We can rest assured that I will. But we have to want better, though. We have to set better standards for our country. We have to. We have to want better. We have to want better. And this issue of the whole Liberia where it is today is not mutually exclusive to George Weah. I've always said this. The George Weah, the Joseph Yuma Boakai, the Joe Howard Taylor, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, Benena Ure, all of them, they are to be blamed for what's happening today. They served in the Senate, apart from Benena Ure. Benena Ure have served in government. They serve in the Senate, including President George Weah. So they're used to the system. They want the same system. They want the same people back. They don't want change. They don't. I will say here today, they don't. They don't. They do not want anything that looks like change. They don't want to be audited. They don't want to be asked questions. They don't want to be put on a microscope. They don't want to be scrutinized. They want puppets. They want people who are praising them. They want people who are fooled and they get you caught behind closed doors. Let me just say this to you, to all of you. We can be cool. We can be friends. We can laugh. We can joke. But I don't play like that. I don't play like that. I don't care how cool we can be. I want us to be clear. I don't care how friendly we can be. You will not get me on your stupid team. Nope. Nope. I don't get on stupid team. I don't praise and worship people. I don't fall in line. No. I don't. Go select other people. Go look for other people who you can cajole, you can care behind the horse. You'll talk to him because you're cool or you'll laugh or whatever it is. So that means, automatically everything is okay. I don't suck up. If I say you are crook on this live video, when I see you in person, I'm able to tell you are crook. It doesn't mean I have a problem with you. Yes, I can work with a Weah-led government to achieve a goal or an agenda. Yes, if need be to help our people. But it doesn't mean that I suck up to President George Weah. No, I don't suck up to President George Weah. I don't suck up to nobody in the opposition. No, I don't. And that's how it's supposed to be. When all of us collectively can have this kind of mindset where we can maintain our relationship with people, we can maintain our friendship with people, but we can tell them the truth as friends and say, cut that crap out. You think I'm supposed to sit down and can't praising somebody? I know that. You think Ali, man, see what thing I'm supposed to be doing, can't sit down and can't praising. I know that. My friend know that somebody who can praising somebody. They feel that looking at it. It's supposed to be passing around praising somebody. No, I don't do that. I would never do that. So I'm not saying you can come here and write your funny things or whatever, that's fine. But I can assure you, if you are trying to recruit for your stupid teams, I'm not part of that. I will never be part of that. I don't care who you are. I'm not part of no stupid team. I will not form no stupid team. I will not join no stupid team. You're passing around with your praise and worshiping people and making people look like they're better than you. Or how can you elect somebody? How can you elect somebody and then you turn around the same person that you elected and become a slave to that person that you elected when that person should be indebted to doing the right thing for you? How can you elect somebody to make excuses for them? What sense does that make? You elect somebody, but then you're passing around making excuses for them. You know, I want to correct one of our viewers here. Mr. Deba. Please, my name is not spelled B-O-L-E-Y yet. It's spelled B-O-L-A-Y. So let's get a record straight first. Mr. Deba, CEO or whatever your name is. My name is not spelled B-O-L. At least if you want to read foolishness, that's fine. But please spell my name correctly. I beg you. It will help. I beg you, Papa. Spell my name. You're okay to write whatever you want to write. That's your right. Feel free. As long as you're not insulting anyone, that's fine. But I'm saying here that nobody can recruit me to be on a stupid team. Nope, I'm not part of no stupid team. I will put the number out here.
And my brother, like you said, and you're right. The thing about it is that we have a serious crisis at hand. We have a serious crisis. That's why these elections coming is very critical, and that's why I'm doing everything. I'll be calling on those who support the ANC. Those who support, Cummings like myself, don't wait for Cummings to come out. Don't wait for the ANC to come out. Do whatever you can to be able to support, Cummings. Go out there, do whatever you can do in your weak way. If you're doing it, you got problem or you got issues, call some people in the ANC, to help you out, to do something, So do whatever you can because these elections are critical. And we need to make sure that Cummings makes the second round. So whatever we can do individually in our capacity. That don't wait for the ANC. That's something you can do. I'm not using a platform. I'm sorry.
I have to find you. We'll hold you there and find you for campaigning on here.
I'm sorry, but I didn't want to. I
have to find you for campaigning.
I didn't want to put it out there.
No. Let me tell you something. As the campaign is getting near or whatever it is, 2023 election. Let me just be very honest with you guys. When you want to come and campaign for your candidate, we'll charge you. That's free.
Oh, yeah, we'll pay.
So we'll hold the chairman in contempt today.
We'll pay.
And we'll charge the chairman. How the chairman started campaigning early on the show. What's going on?
No, we'll pay. It's important for us to start early, so we can send the message out there.
I got a caller here already. So let me get our caller first. Please, if you call and I don't answer you right now, please, I will definitely call you back or so forth. Please, we're going to do it one at a time. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
This is Uncle Pete, the man for all the copies.
Yes, Uncle Pete. What's your input? Where is Liberia headed? Where are we headed?
First of all, I watched the program and I was reading some comments. First, I want to make remark on the comments. Somebody made remark to Siko. And I want this to start in Liberia. For each time they see somebody speaking with some Mandingo background, they tell them to go to Guinea. Liberians, I'm telling Liberians, I have said this continuously to Liberia to stop this type of mentality. We need to change this. This is very wrong to refer to Mandingos to tell them to go to Guinea. These people are bona fide Liberians. And such other races is very degrading, and you are showing simplicity whenever you exhibit such expressions to people of Mandingo descent. this is what I want to say. I really got offended when somebody was telling him, go to Guinea, they wrote the comment under your post. First of all, let me just come to this. Look, we have a country, gentlemen. We all should be sad for our country. Our country is heading nowhere. You have a country where they burning people alive in the streets for committing a crime, for stealing a cell phone. They burn you alive. For stealing a motorbike, they burn you alive. I said, even if you steal a house, they're not supposed to burn you alive. They're supposed to take you to the justice system. So we have no law and order in Liberia. People are telling me that even if you're driving your car, you have a motorcycle, you just cannot stop because they will come around and put your car on fire. What is this? What type of do we need a change in Liberia, my Liberian people? And you all still want to recycle former politicians? So this is just what I want to speak on. Liberia is going, I mean, it is terrible. As a matter of fact, I've been apprehensive that they might even point one of those visitors might be there visiting the country, might maybe rent a car and they start driving and hit a motorcycle and they surround him and point his car. This is what is going on in the country. And you all saying we don't need a change. We need to recycle from our old politicians. We need a change. Somebody new that will look for the best. That's all I got to say this morning.
Thank you, Uncle Pete. Thanks for your input.
Sorry.
Let me get this next caller here. The phone has been buzzing. Let's get this next caller here really quick. Really quick. Let's get this next caller here. I think someone joined us. We'll bring the next contributor here really quick. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
This is D. Curtis.
Yes, D. Curtis.
How are you, sir?
My man, what is going on?
Huh?
What is going on?
Nothing better going on, my man. I want to comment on the entertainment, and let me clarify first before let me make sure I'm not wrong, right? They call it your guest on the show. You want to prove of P Square and them going to Liberia, correct?
Not necessarily. From what he stated, he approves, but they needed to come more as watching our local, artists perform as opposed to them leading the charge, per what I heard.
Okay. So he wanted the local artist to be the lead or the headliner instead of
most definitely.
Is that correct?
Indeed.
Right. I am an entertainer. You just don't know who I am. I'm an entertainer. I'm a guy. I sing and I do comedy, and I don't find any problem with P Square and them coming to Liberia. I know we like everything, and we can drop down to getting the facts and proving that the government was the one that actually brought P Square for time. It was the businessman that brought P Square in. Using his own do the politics and say, well, the government paying the money, and until that is proven, I'm going to take it face value that P Square visit to Liberia or the performance in Liberia was as the donation of this businessman video that was going on around. Okay. So here's my thing. As an entertainer, listen or watch the comedy videos, is Nigerian sound effects. Go and watch them. You can name them. Liberians, in order for our artists to make it big or for us to consider them big, they have to cross and go to Nigeria to shoot music video, collaborate with these people. It has gotten to the point where even Liberian pastors in Liberia, when they pray in Nigerian accent, as if God does not understand the Liberian accent anymore. We have adapted and agreed that whatever it is that we're doing, we can't sell without these Nigerian people. To the same very P-Square what we're talking about. Go back and watch P-Square then video where they made and they were announcing that they would be in Liberia. Go and see how much view, how much share, how many Liberians talk about that video, share that video, and express whether it's frustration or not in the business world. That's marketing, that's promotion, whether you like it or not. See how many Liberians promoted that. Now, if it was a Liberian entertainer like myself, I got booked by the government or by somebody else and they bringing me down to Liberia, the magnitude of publicity that P-Square video got, my video wouldn't have gotten it. Nobody will talk about it, including your guest on the show right now. He will not say anything about it. We can narrow it down to the show itself. Look at all the performances from all the Liberian artists that were there when the Liberian artists were performing in their own country to their own people. See the reaction that they got versus when P-Square hit the stage and see what attention the same Liberian people in the same country gave those people. So we need to stop the BS, stop the politics, and put our own mouth and our own pocket to where it needs to be. And I'm speaking as a Liberian entertainer. We talk all the time when it comes down to actually supporting the Liberian entertainment industry. They don't do it. But we'll political side everything and then we'll try to make everything into politics when we are not ready to support. Let's die your breath. Tell me how many Liberian artists are in our purchase. I'm still listening to for free. Purchase.
Okay.
We need to get to that stage. And now let's go to the entertainment side of it. Go back and watch all the performances. Watch the Liberian performers. See how bad and horrible the vast majority were. And how do you expect for people to pay their money for Liberian artists to come and give them nothing but nonsense? Whereas they can pay somebody that will come and actually perform and give them the money worth. Those are the conversations we need to be having. If I'm going to book you to come to my event, I want you to come and deliver. Don't come and sing, come and just stand one place and jump around, and then you expect people to book you all the time. They're not going to do it. And even if it's me, I would rather book somebody else that will come and give me a show that will bring the Liberian in the name of, I'm supporting Liberia.
D. Curtis, let me hold you there really quick. So you are simply trying to say that going forward, you do not care if Liberian people support you in the diaspora or not. You are agreeing now that Liberian people should not support you. You will seek support from other people because Liberians don't perform well. So that means they should go and seek other people from outside to come and perform, even at their own event. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to bring it to my craft.
Because you're an entertainer, so I won't put in your shoes.
Bring it to my craft. Call all the Liberians that supported me or booked me to the event. Not a single one of them will tell you they regret booking me. And the reason being is because I thought about my performance, I thought about my craft, I put in time. And when I go there to perform, whether I'm just hosting an event or I'm performing, I give them a good show. And that's why I go to an event, and when I leave that event, I have multiple clients from that same event because they saw what I did. But go back and watch that performance.
No, you're not answering. You're not answering the question. I ask you a simple question. Are you insinuating on this show today, going forward, Liberians should not book you? You don't care about the booking because Liberians don't support their own. Is that what you're insinuating? Rather, you prefer, because you asserted here, you are a public figure, and you are saying here that you are okay with them booking P-Square, whether it was a businessman or whatever it is, at the expense of Liberians on their own festival, in their own country. They should come and book a Nigerian or a Ghanaian because they can perform better than the Liberian performers that were there at that day. That's what you're saying. So it should be applicable to you?
That's not it in its entirety. That is part of what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you are not going to come and give the people a good show, and somebody else is willing to give a good show and pay for it, why not?
Okay.
And don't even go back to the same Liberians when the government sent for D12 and paid them $30,000. Wasn't it the same Liberian were complaining about D12?
Okay.
So why is the government giving him $30,000 to go and perform? Wasn't he no Liberian? Wasn't he from the diaspora? Wasn't it the same Liberian making noise about it?
Okay. Thank you, D. Thank you, D. You want to make your closing statement before we let you go, because we got two other panelists here that got to.
I posted my money worth. That's one. Number two, Liberian people that are talking about this and that, not supporting, not bringing other people, we need to put our money in our pockets where our mouth is. We shouldn't just come and politicize everything and make noise on social media while they brought this other person. When you yourself, when you're having your show, you rather play other people's music and you don't support Liberian people. So support is not just coming and talking.
Okay.
We need more.
Thank you, D. Curtis. Thank you so much. All right, let's get to let's do ladies before gentlemen. Tel, you are here. Please unmute yourself. I know. Okay, what's going on, Tel? And then we'll get to Jill Rennie here. What's going on?
Happy Sunday. I just came to greet these wonderful men and powerhouses we got here. You know, my brothers that I value every day to the discussion. I'm cooking. I couldn't help but to come say hi to them. So that's all. Nothing much.
Oh.
You on your own today.
All right, thank you, Tel. Well, then
these are some of my favorites on social media. So I had to put my face to the camera to tell them how I appreciate them.
Okay, thank you, Tel. Well, let's get to Jay Rennie here. You're muted, Mr. Rennie. What's going on?
Let me just say hi to every one of you guys there, and I'm glad to be here today. And let me say a big thank you to Tel. She's a very realistic sister, and I highly appreciate her for everything that she continued to do for the people of Liberia and for the generation to come. So I'm also honored to have her sharing the platform with me today. And I would also like to say hi to your audience out there. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jay Randy. For those of you that know me, I just hope that you are here with open mind, because I've been there and done that before, and there's no coming back in the direction I'm going. So mostly thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for the invite as well.
Thank you, Jay Rennie. Just before we get to you for your take, because I know Chelsea, she's not here to talk too much. She's here to...
You know, I'm not here to talk, but I also want to address D. Curtis.
Yes, I'll get to you. Let me get a caller really quick before you address D. Curtis, and then we'll go to Jay Rennie, and then he can, you know, throw your hat in where we are headed as a country, or where are we headed as, you know, as people. But Tell, I beg you, let me just get a caller off. I beg you, please.
Absolutely.
Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Yeah, my name is Eugene Hammond. I'm calling from Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, Eugene Hammond calling from Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you for following. What's your input, please?
Yeah, I just on the question you asked me, I was headed, and I heard your guest in this and I very excited over. I respectfully disagree with him.
Okay.
If you don't see any progress in that, I think other people see progress in that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We have only GSK now the full mental hospital. So we are seeing
Are you back? Because they are do.
That's a progress. We are headed somewhere.
Okay.
We saw the SK protocol that they don't have doctors there. They have a doctor.
All right.
We see other ministers around the world. That's a progress.
Okay. Thank you.
We see our mother and sister selling on the street and they're going up in multi-million-dollar in my house. That's a progress.
Did you say multi-million dollars? No. Caller, hold on, please. Did you say multi-million dollars, or you want to take back that word?
Okay, let me take it back.
Okay, thank you.
We see money, market the right time. Our work and people are going to sell.
Okay, thanks for the clarity, caller.
They are not going to be able to reset it again. That's called progress.
Okay.
So I don't know if you are getting the sense of it. If you don't see that, we the ordinary people, and we see that. That's a progress.
Thank you.
We see the road for Raleigh, right to Apple down the road. We see it's going to be a 4-lane road.
Okay.
That's a progress.
Thank you so much for your input, caller.
I don't know how you want to measure the progress, but that's a progress.
Okay.
We see our executive vice of our democracy being restored.
Okay. Well,
after 16 years.
All right.
Progress.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much, and we value your input. Thanks for following, and thanks for calling to make us, to educate us and inform us. Thank you. Tell, just before we get to you, Mark is in Liberia. He joined us from Liberia. It's the data issue, so we definitely have to give him preferential choices here. Let's go to Mark really quick to get his input. Mr. Mark Jabate, how are you?
I'm all right, my good brother and friend.
My man, you're not stranger to SKTV, so I'm not welcoming you yet. You're not stranger to this show. You've been on the show more than one time. So what is your take? Where we headed as a country? What is your take on the CPP, the leading of Joseph Yuma Boaka and Unity Party and other people? What is your take? Let's get a general insight here before we go to the rest of the panelists. Let's get your input really quick.
And thank you and for asking me that beautiful question. And based on my own political analysis and the CPP, and you have few guys in the CPP that undermine the CPP, but in Liberia people are being misinformed. And for instance, you have this guy, they call him Pedro Costa, and he's very, very aggressive and very, very rude on his show. He does not know how to talk to people. He feels that when he says things, and people should go by it. And that's not the way politics work. You should be able to use persuasive mentor to convince people to get on your side. But he was so aggressive at that time when he insulted this man and Alexander Cummings. Then later on, he went after Musa Bilete, referring to him as a criminal. But before then, he even attacked Joseph Boaka 2017. So he is fighting for his personal interest, not the interest of the Liberian people. And this the long man continued to say that he came to fight for integrity. But you knew very well that Musa Bilete had this tinted character while supporting him to serve as the Liberty Party chairman. So it was a contradictory something, and he made that. Then later on, he went to Alexander Cummings, telling Alexander Cummings, look, you are the best person to help the CPP. When Alexander Cummings gave him $15,000, he and that lady called Kangan. That's the time they traveled to America. They said that, and they went there to enjoy themselves. But later on, when Costa and got to notice, and he came back again, he said, look, I cannot support Alexander Cummings. Because these are the type of people who have in Liberia and political con artists around, and these are some of the things that are going around. They're concerning the document, the framework, just about that. You knew very well that you have great experience in Boakat, you work in government. But then why is it that the document allow, or you guys allow, verbally or what, and it was threatening or not, you people call for primary. You understand? You knew that you could not go on this man as a running mate. But then why encourage the primary? And at the same time again, Costa and his bunch of folks, they came out to say that, look, as far as concerned, there will be no primary. The primary and as far as concerned, this man will be the standard bearer. But why you guys did not discuss that from the initial stage? So if you look at it, they make a blunder. They blunder and the honor man, the effort is not coming. I met Joseph Boaka recently in Bapuru County, where I'm constructing and a mosque and schools around there. He invited me on his farm, and I told him, between God and man, wallahi, I told him, I said, Joseph Boaka, you are mute, you are weak. That's that's the two words I use on you. You are silent, you are weak. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. But then, that's his case. Boaka, who said that he have great experience, that he have integrity. Why when Costa said that he should withdraw from the CPP, he listened to Henry Pedro Costa. At the end of the day, he withdrew from the CPP. So it means that Boaka cannot manage this country. It means that even Joseph Boaka is elected as president tomorrow, they will control him more, because not a day Boaka have carried organized of protests concerning the gangster guys that in power, concerning the criminals that in power, who are making the Liberian people to suffer. He has not come on one day. Even the issue of Cabinet Janet, the issue of the auditors, the 15 billion. How many times have we heard that the opposition, the leading opposition leaders in the so-called leading opposition leader Boaka have organized or protest or come out to speak against somebody in our society? None. He always silent. That means when you become president tomorrow, you'll be controlled by the same group of guys who call themselves or activists or talk show hosts and things. So we get a long way to go. People when the document went to the court, Musa didn't warn the guys. He said, throw that case out of the court. But the Solicitor General Seaford is like he found interest in the case. That's why. But Musa Ding is mute. The minister just said, I'm not come out to speak against the guys, the case, because he feel that case to the court, at the end of the day, they will throw that case out keep him on record today. So all these guys and things, they are all fighting for their own political interests. They are not in the interest of Liberian people. And Joseph Walker, the way we look at things, the old man, although I respect him as a father, as a grandfather, but he cannot stand the Liberian political tension now. Because everybody attend to a man cause today. Everybody is aggressive today on social media. So that old man, even electing as a president, at the end of the day, you will not have energy to even read full-page document. You will not. People will mislead him. He will be misguided by people. So we need energetic people, men that will stand up to seek the interests of the Liberian people. We get plenty of work to do in this country. Say 1847. We need an aggressive leader. We need intelligent leader. We need leader that will go out there to lobby for Mama Liberia. Because a lot of things are going on. You saw it last time when John Lobo, when the Papa went to America, and John Lobo went to the Papa, he said, say they want you, say they want you. Why must you tell the Omer say they want when the Omer have people in front of him? So at the end of the day, these guys, that's the same thing they're going to do tomorrow. And Ben Nayure, and 1 year ago, he said he will never agree for Kwame to go as running mate to Baka. So it is clear that they honor my Kwame. But what Kwame is lacking of, Kwame does not have the propaganda machine for people to hear his side. So Baka have the propaganda machine. Yes. But Kwame, he need to work on his team propaganda machine to inform Liberian people who is Alexander Kwame. It is not about carrying on by going out to spend money to buy mobile. No. Liberian politics today, it is all about propaganda. It is all about lies. So you must do something to get over there too. That's what. And no more question.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Let me get you one more question really quick, and then we'll go to Telvi to address that. Then we'll get to J. Randy here. My question to you is, where is Liberia headed? Where do you think we're headed?
And Liberia, and right now the international community, they are laughing at us to see a soccer legend, a man who is not well schooled. But I think he's well schooled than the so-called opposition we have today. They are laughing because they are fighting among themselves. They are fighting among themselves. So the international community will come out and say, look, these guys in that country, they are not serious. That's why they're referring to us now. That we are not serious. Because the international community should be hearing, news from Liberia by carrying over peaceful protests, by engaging the government politically. But how many opposition leaders have engaged in the government? And they gotta continue to steal. They continue to suffer for people. Oh, yes. You saw it last time when I organized that protest, when police went and killed that truck driver. I killed not less than 6,000 human beings. At the end of the day, the government paid the expensive. They spend not less than $100,000. That's the thing. You have to put the government feet on fire. So it is hard. Because when I see people pressing me like Delon is a crook. He's a political crook, a con artist. But because the hatred of this government, that's why people today, they are pressing Delon. But the true color of Delon will come up. Not today. He's a liar. He's a crook. He's a political hustler. That's how Delon look. So the conspiracy against Alexander Kwame is at a higher level. He needs to work on himself. But I'm not supporter of Alexander Kwame. I am not supporter of Alexander Kwame. I'm not supporter of Baka. And forever, I'm not supporting CCC no more again. Because I have learned my lesson well. But that's my analysis I give.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Telvi, let's go to you really quick. Let's go to Tel. While Mark is on the standby there with us to come back to either answer some questions or, report some statement here. Telvi.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a reporter. I think D. Curtis has said this more than once, and he's tied with his opinion, but I think also part of this show is we can disagree what we need to disagree, but also even in our disagreement that we find some common ground and some, some sort of reasoning, even as we disagree. I understand he mentioned, he's posted it more than once and calling about this bicentennial, or maybe Liberia, they're not better artists, or Liberian people don't support each other, or, they gave D2, what's his name, the other man, D12, 30,000, and so the other people have the money. We have to step away from that. For one thing, D. Curtis have to understand, though, what was the objective of the program? Because You know, that is first thing to focus on. This was a vast tenure, 200 years of Liberia be free, or whatever you want to call it. I'm paraphrasing here. Or this free states return to Liberia, whatever. We all know the story. So if it wasn't that sort of historical program, there's nothing wrong with getting other artists. I'm a big fan of you know, teamwork. You know, we learn from each other. So that it's nothing directed at the P Square or Nigerians or Ghanaians. My good friend, my best friend is Nigerian. Very good friend. We've been in schools probably 30 years or so. But the point I'm making here is that you have to look at the objective of the program. What was the intended outcome? Because the idea was to talk about us, celebrate us. Then if you're going to invite them, like you invite some of the diplomats or other people, then they need to take a seat and not be performing on the stage. Now, if you're having another program, whether it be a Flag Day program or just a musical jamboree, you can invite them. Or you're having something in the country that you think that they need to team up with other artists in the country so that they can, you know, grow up or explain their success stories so other people can learn from it. Then they can do that, but you can't say that because Liberian people can't support other people, so let the people have it. What is the benefit now after all of this? What is the benefit that Liberia is getting, or Liberians gain from giving the money to P Square, or giving them that spotlight and that space? What is the benefit to your program? D Credits, don't you think you should have been in that space? Don't you think you deserve to be in that space? I know you're talking from a place of hurt because Liberians don't support each other. I understand. I have an online store. I do different stuff. So I get it. But that doesn't mean that because we don't support each other, so, you know, take what is due to us and throw it to the swines or throw it to somebody else. We have to move away from that. Because I don't get it, so that everybody, so throw it anywhere else. How do you benefit from giving it to a Nigerian or somebody else? You, along with other artists, 10 other artists, could have shared that money. And your skills, your talent, your experience. I've watched you on different platforms, your different personalities. Sometimes you come out Von Curtis, you come out D Curtis, you know, even though we're not friends on Facebook, but I watch your stuff and sometimes I laugh from it. You know, so I mean, don't you think that's even stealing from you? You don't see it that way? You've been ripped off. I'm sure if you were given an opportunity, you would have gladly welcomed it and be on that stage. So we must call it for what it is, even if it doesn't benefit us. And I know, like I said, you talked about a place of hurt, but I think, brother, you need to step away from that. You need to step away from that mindset that, oh, because Labrampo complained about giving the 30,000 to D12. I complained. I felt it was too much to give an artist at the time. But equally so, that doesn't mean you throw however the amount is at P Square. I felt that 30,000, whatever, allegedly 30,000, I saw the check, I don't remember what it is. It could have been shared among 2 or 3 artists. It didn't worth the money they gave him. I said it. I'm a big fan of, you know, fraud, waste, and abuse and government expenditure. So I will be the last person to welcome government spending foolishly. But it still doesn't mean that you support such bad behavior. It was wrong. It was wrong yesterday. It's wrong now. It will be wrong tomorrow. So hopefully, brother, you'll look at it from a different perspective, and I'm sure other people can chime in. But that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much. Let's get to Jill Randy here. We have a couple of questions for Mr. Jill Randy. Mr. Jill Randy, as always, welcome back to the show. I just want to get your input. We talked here with Chairman Dode about a lot of different things. You know, we went from the genesis of things. I want to lay the question here by asking you, first of all, before we get to the bigger part of it, of where we are headed as a nation. What is your take on the Unity Party and the ALP leaving the CPP? I will use the word unconstitutionally because they probably did not follow the process to go to the courts or remove themselves from NEC or whatever it is. So I term it as unconstitutional. What is your take on it? Where do you think they're headed next?
Well, excuse me. If you don't mind, I just want to take a minute to at least go over what Mike Jabate said and what D. Curtis said, because I think this opportunity could be a learning curve for every one of us. So if you don't mind,
sure.
Yeah. So So from bottom to top, what I would suggest here is, and before I come up with a suggestion, I would like for Deacon to take a step back and probably retract his statement because I know there are many opportunities that Liberia have to offer. So I know and I understand the frustration. But what I would also like to add to that is, I mean, when these things are happening in our country, we first of all need to understand ourselves, how organized we are, what type of power we got, whether it's in the music industry or in the voting community. And one of the suggestions would be if we have a musical union in the country that is very powerful in the country, whenever any program such as Pasadena or whatever anniversary is taking place, the musical union with the musician representatives can go in there and advocate for them. If that is something that is not in Liberia, I would like to suggest that it start looking in that direction as well. The country we live in here, there are a lot of promoters that interface with political institution and other celebrity programs going on here. So I think DCAD should be looking at some ways to at least give every Liberian the opportunity. Because if you think about it, the bicentennial is all about how much progress we have made. And if some musicians have been disenfranchised, then it defeat the purpose of celebrating bicentennial because we wanted to be somewhere. That said, I would like to come to Mike Jabate here. And Mike Jabate, I know we all are frustrated, all right? But I think it will be very professional in a sense to at least stay away from. I'm not trying to control you, Mike, but I would say if I were you, I won't be saying gangster criminal because in a court of competent jurisdiction, we just in the public opinion are finding people guilty. But I believe that when we sit on the platform, we need to provide the best conversation. I mean, the government could be incompetent by by explaining where the incompetency lies, and and I will refrain from using Costa. You know what, Mike? If Uncle Joe been in power for 43 years and he allowed a kid that just coming up recently to dictate what he says, I won't focus on the kid. My role would be to focus on Orca inability to properly manage and lead. And the question would be, can he be trusted? Is he reliable? And so that thing that I would suggest that you gotta be focusing on because bringing Costa in the picture, it makes no difference to me. It's just that you're looking at the week that make the 7 days, but you gotta choose a day in the week that you must discuss. So Boca is one of the days in the week. Don't say we got a whole week. Just say I'm going to pick a day, and that day will be Boca and discuss. Because at the end of the day, Boca will be facing the Liberian people. With that said, back to your, the last thing I would like to say here too is I listen to Uncle Pete, from making comment against those who want to exclude diversity. Like when somebody speaks, oh, the man should go back to Ghana and the man should go back to Guinea. Let me tell you guys this. The original sin of any country is illiteracy. And the way to fight illiteracy is to put an expiration date, whether it's 2065, 2070. And that one thing that Liberia failed to do. Today in the United States, why people are mandated to graduate from high school, and after high school, you don't get no call from any institution because they feel that 12-year education will adequately prepare anyone. That said, when people get out and say, oh, they should go back to Guinea, they should go back to this, Liberia, the population of our country is very diverse. Many Liberians came from northern Sudan. If you don't know, many Liberians came from northern Sudan. So even if you see Harrison Conway, he is one of the artifacts of where our ancestor came from. And then other came from Iran, and then we have the American Liberians. But again, it just speaks to how limited our learning institutions are, not researchful, not creating any awareness. So when it is happening, some of all who got a little opportunity, like we're giving here now, we try to provide that education. Now, when it comes to your question about the Unity Party leaving the CPP, right? Moses, is that a question? What is mine?
Yes. Yeah, what is your take on the Unity Party or the ALP leaving the CPP? And I use the word unconstitutionally deliberately, considering they did not follow the process to NEC to get out of it. Rather, they came to the public rush and said they're leaving. They just said it words by mouth or whatever it is. So, what is your take?
For me, I will remove the constitutionality of that because our constitution is our organic law. I would just say what happened to the understanding of their collaboration, because it was not in any constitution, if you don't mind, that brought them together. Our constitution, our organic law that we follow, and if something breaks, we hold people accountable. These are political individuals who believe that the only way to defeat Joshua is to put themselves together. But what is happening now, or what has happened, I don't know whether they really understood why they were getting into the thing the first thing. And because everybody need to understand themselves. All right. When you send me this invite here, I look at a list of things that I had to do. And I asked myself, am I willing to take time and sit on the SKTV show to have the discussion? And I look at my time, the time I can get forward to be here. And I said yes to that. That means that I will commit myself to be able to answer questions that you are going to post to me, to be able to get feedback from those who will be listening to me, whether agree or disagree. The collaboration, whether it is collaboration, whether it's coalition, these things are not strange to our country. Warring faction got together to get rid of Charles Taylor, they failed. We saw the Samuel Canyon those days of the NDPL with against Liberal Action Party, Unity Party, Liberty Party, or UP Party, they all work together in collaboration and failed. What does that tell us? Collectively, as Liberians, it's very challenging for us to be in a coalition. And one of the fundamental reasons we fail is because when we are going in there, we don't have a goal. We don't understand what the cause of, or even wanting to get together. We go in there with our own self-interest. And that in the end will reveal itself, because self-interest is like a plant you put in the ground. It will try to germinate, and then when time comes, when the plant starts to show up, everybody will get to see and everybody will split up. So I think the departure of the Liberty Party or the ALP or the Unity Party, it just goes to show that at this time in our life, we are not in a position to say that we have leaders in our country until we begin to re-engineer our country goal and objective. Because if you ask anybody right now, what is the Liberia dream? What can we do to live a dream as a Liberian? Leaders should be able to define what they can do to give us the Liberia dream. I don't see it in Honorable Boyka. He been in power for 43 years. For Cummings said we can't keep doing the same thing over and over. If I were Cummings joining these guys, because these guys' scorecards already in the eyes, minds, and feeling of the Liberian people. Ure is not a stranger to the Liberian people. Joe Boyka is not a stranger to the Liberian people. The only person that stood a better chance in our coalition, in my opinion, was Alexander Cummings. Cummings came out with a very good bar he set. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over. And what do I mean by that? To maintain the structure of that party, if he were called to join any coalition, Cummings will walk out the Boyka and say, hey, look, listen, Uncle Joe, with all due respect, what is the purpose of the coalition? I want to hear your side. Well, we want to merge. All right, but what is the process that we're trying to achieve here? Well, we want to select one person to be the front runner. But Boyka, let me ask you, are you willing to accept any result when you lose? If yes, how can we assure? I don't know whether Cummings did that or not. But what I think it should have been a discussion that should have been held on SKTV and other platforms. Because by then we would have known. But where we started to see the plan started germinating itself, every one of them, Boyka went and sat on ELBC and looked in the face of Super Josh. When Super Josh asked him, are you willing to take the back seat if you lose? And Boyka said, hey, I don't think I can do that, because I said the position of vice president for 2 years. It is not an entitlement. It is a process. So when he said, I can't do this, it means that, oh, it's like you, Joe, you've been on this show here. Someone comes in with tea and sickle, and somebody said, Joe, Moses, can you take the third place? And after the show, I can't do that. It is not a marriage system. It is a political process. And these are some of the things that continue to derail whatever the Liberian people see as a collaboration that gave them hope. These are some of the deviation, the missed opportunity that we need to put together. So in short, they were not really organized. They didn't understand the risks involved. They didn't understand the repercussion. And this is where we are. And I just go to speak to many people when they say Liberians are not making any sense at all. And I see it that way. Because why? What we just saw is not different from the MPFL, Unimoke, going against Charles Taylor, they flung. It is not different from the Liberian Action Party and the other party, and in collaboration against Samuel Kido, they fought. It's not the Alhaji Kloma that passed away with other faction party going against Taylor, they failed. And in my judgment, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news here, but if they behave again, Mr. Weah, unfortunately, who become president for the next 6 years.
Okay. Again. All right. Thank you, J. Randy. Let me get into the next question here as we make progress here into this conversation. Where do you think Liberia is headed as a nation and as a people? What would be your input or your take?
Well, Liberia is, figuratively, Liberia is moving, but the direction is what I would tell you. Liberia is moving. Liberia is in your car. The full rim of that car is turning. But which direction is that car going? Individually, Liberians individually are making success. So let no one tell you, say, Liberia not making progress. As a country, the country itself is moving in a direction. So the direction the country is moving, it is a process and it is a progress. But is that progress positive or negative? Because we, as Liberians, and to tailor that to political partisan, if somebody say the country not making progress, I differ with that. And here is why. Many times we see the facts. We will only accept the facts if it's in our corner. ANC people will say it's true that what you're doing is right. United Party will say we differ with you because that differentiation, it doesn't favor them until we begin to measure our progress based on what I would describe as being Liberia-centric. The centricity of Liberia means if somebody is wrong, whether you're from Liberty Party, you're from this party, and when we agree that a person is wrong, that means that we're only looking out for Liberia. So as far as progress goes, trust me, you will tell people, say, you know what, I don't think Comey making progress enough to win the election. ANC people say, Comey going to win. You say, I don't think Joseph Boyka will be weird. From that personal selective opinion that favor them, they will say, yes, Boyka will either win depending on who supporting Boyka. Others will say Boyka will win. But in the end, it will measure out to be what the result will turn out to be. So as far as Liberia go in the right direction, it depends on who you ask. Why? Because the leader in the country hasn't really set a goal for the country. Like, for example, the National Development Agenda of Liberia that say by the year 2050, we want to have all 18 years old be out of high school at that time. Now, when you see the population of 4 million people, and out of that 4 million people, maybe 3 million are people in their 18 and above, and you measure the percentage, and it tells you that maybe 50% of that percentage of high school students, 18-year-old people are not out of high school, then I would say we're not making progress because the national development goal are things that people are supposed to look at, looking at every sector. All right. When you ask the CDC people right now, how well are we doing in the healthcare, educational infrastructure? They will tell you the government doing well. But can you tell them, can I drive from River G and go straight down to River Cess? They will tell you, I don't know. But then how do you measure the progress? I can hear you.
So, Jay Randy, my question to you was direct. We have less than 15 more minutes to be here. My question to you was direct. About 10, 15 more minutes to be here. Direct. Jay Randy, based on what you know, based on the facts that is available in the public as well, based on information you know that the public might not be aware of, where do you think Liberia is headed?
Liberia is heading in the direction of every country. For the fact that she's participating with other international nations, they know that Liberia is heading somewhere. But the
Okay.
question is, where is Liberia now? If everybody heading to Maryland and everybody right now they are between Banga and Nema County, Liberia is just a red light.
Okay. All
I
right.
hope I answered the question.
Well, thank you so much for. I'm not sure, Chairman Dode. I'm not sure if you have anything to add or subtract before we move on to Telvi here. Hold on one second. Hold on, I'll mute you.
Okay.
Yes, Chairman Dode.
So, hey, Tevi, good to see you. Good to see you. So, my brother just mentioned about whether somebody who said making progress, Liberia is not making progress. Because I said Liberia is not making progress, and another caller also mentioned that Liberia is making progress. But I want to say, when you say Liberia is not making, when you say Liberia is making progress, it's based upon statistics, right? We look at, if we come to the education sector, we look at UNICEF in terms of what Liberia, the progress Liberia is making or has made in the past compared to current. And we're talking about the healthcare, we look at WHO, their statistics. We're talking about the economy, we look at the World Bank and the IMF and all those kinds of things. So if I say Liberia is not making progress, I said that from a numerical standpoint, and we can have another conversation. But because of time, I will just say it to my brother. 2020 before 2017, Liberia had 2.5 growth, of GDP, right? Today, on George, we have a negative 3.0. So you can't tell me from 2.5 to 3.0 to negative 3.0 is a progress. It's not progress. When you go to the U.S. State Department report on human rights, go and read the report, the 2020 report. It says a lot of things about in terms of the justice system, how poor the justice system has been over the time since George Weah came to power. All to this, there have been so many deaths and all of those things. So when you look at the country making progress, you look at the different report, the indexes, the different report from the UN, from IMF, World Bank, from WHO, UNICEF, and all of the different international organizations that supersedes all of the different areas or in different sectors of our economy, in different sectors of Liberia. So it is based upon these different numerical values that I know of, that which I can say Liberia is not making progress. We can have another conversation about that in another day. But if you go and read the report, you will know as to whether Liberia is making progress or not. So I just wanted to say to the first caller and to my brother on the platform, but Liberia is not making progress. I said Liberia is not making progress based upon these different numerical value that the international partners provided, that is public, it's out there, you can go and read it, and the State Department report on all of these different issues, you can go and read it. So I just wanted to stress that. Then second is that D. Curtis mentioned it directly. And listen, the Bicentennial is a historic program, like Tevi said, right? So I will prefer that the people will come and get and see our artists and see how, in fact, D. Curtis himself, like Tevi mentioned, he would have flown to Liberia. In fact, even when I first time came across D. Curtis, at inboxing, I said, man, you're so funny, bro. You know, any program I'm having on this side, I will certainly let you know, and see how we can get you over here and stuff like that. Whatever we can. But I think you are very funny. You got a craft that, that no one has. Even the thing he did between Spoon and Costa, that was so funny. I mean, I laugh, I watch it every day and I laugh at it, right? So, we can't sell our birthright to other people, or we can't sell our craft to other people, our ingenuity to other people, because we feel frustrated individually about, support. I mean, we support, man. For me, I support artists. He asked me what I bought music from him. I play Liberian music every other time in my car. If I buy, I download iTunes on my phone and all that kind of stuff. I reach out to God. I reach out to artists, by way I can. So we support, but we cannot say we're having a historic program and then we set a historicity to another, artist when we have our own people ready that we can promote and all those kinds of things. So I just wanted to stress that.
Thank you so much. Yes, Telvi, any input?
Yeah, I think the guys have said it all, but I think it's important to stress that, what I think what some people want to hear, they want to hear the direct answer that Liberia is making progress in the wrong direction. And I think that's what they need to hear. For the supporters here that are calling people names, Liberia making progress. Then, you know, like my brother really see the car is moving, but is the car moving in the right direction? No. Compared to their neighbors, when we look at historical data, we'll look at it now as, you know, looking at, you know, cases, how they prosecute cases, how the wasteful spending, you know, and we look at, you know, everything else in the country. We just saw the other day how, you know, the citizens decided to take the law in their hands. Somebody can say, well, it can happen in other countries. But you know why they're doing that? Because they don't trust the system. They don't trust that they will get justice if they go and report to the police or the you know, Justice Department or whatever you want to call it over there. They don't trust them. So is the country going in the right direction? Absolutely not. Maybe that's why you want to hear. Because when my brother told us say the country is not it's not, you know, it's not progressing. You want to take that one. So let me be able to tell you that it's moving. The car is moving. But the GPS is going the wrong direction. It's not going where it should go. The GPS detour a long time ago.
There you go.
Time that it takes the car take a 360 turn.
Okay. Before I get Jay Rennie back on here for a question, let me take 1 or 2 calls here really quick. Hello, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? You have 1 minute.
Hey, how you doing, Steve? My name is Isaac Johnson, calling from Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, Isaac. What's your input?
Yeah, first of all, let me appreciate you guys first for the discussion, the topic on the discussion. The first thing I want to say is, Stevie, we are not true to our people back home. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I have to say. We are not being true to our people back home. So, number one, this is the question I ask. How are we really going to school in America? Are we really getting our degrees in America to fool our people, or to always criticize on the negative aspect for our people to believe that yes, we are educated and we're being uneducated fools? Is that what we're doing, Stephen? Why can we be grateful to God and for our country, Liberia, to see the mental aspect that is going on in the country, to see the improvement that is going on in our country that you can see? I don't know. All your guests want to show how long they left Liberia. That's the first question I'm going to ask.
Thank you, Isaac.
When last they left Liberia?
No, your 1 minute. Listen, Isaac. You don't run the show. Your 1 minute is up. We have the right to bring other people on. So you don't dictate to us what we do on the show, okay? We'll respect you, but you have to respect the rules of the show. Thank you. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Yes, hi. My name is Mohammed Tita from Staten Island, New York.
Yes, Mohammed, you have a minute, please. Make your input, please.
Well, the question that I would like to ask is, Steve, anyway, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And the question I would like to ask, a lot of people have neglected to ask this question. What I really want to know from Mr. Randy's perspective and the guests online today, what do they think about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf? Has she been productive for Liberia from 1979 up to current, or a political liability that have created the current inherited problem in Liberia as a culture? I just want to know your intake.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? You have a minute, please.
It's D. Curtis.
Yes, D. Curtis. What's your name? What is your input for a minute, please?
Well, yeah, I want to clear out some things here real quick. I'm not speaking from a place of hurt at all. Yeah, would it have been nice for me to be a part of that, one of those artists to perform? Yeah, it would have been. And I did reach out. I'm a guy that, I reach out a network, all right? And I expect every other Liberian artist to do the same. Just because I wasn't hired to go and perform does not bring any resentment whatsoever. But we are still stressing over P-Square performing. And we're saying this is a historical event. How many Liberian artists performed at that event? Are you telling me P-Square is so big of a magnitude to the extent that the thousands of other Liberian artists that perform could not portray our culture and stuff?
Thank you.
That we are still fighting up to now that P-Square is gone? And if that is the argument, then we need to step up our game as Liberian artists and entertainers.
Okay.
If you're saying this is a historical event and we're there to our culture and stuff like that. How many Liberian artists perform and we're still fighting over one group?
You got 10 more seconds.
One group of a country, one group.
Thank you, D. Curtis.
Right?
We have to take another caller, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. Just before we get the other caller on, just 1 second, because once we turn to the panelists, that's it. We're not going back. So just hold on. And each of you will have the opportunity to take a bite at this.
Tell me where you cooking.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
I'm baking.
Oh, okay.
I'm baking some fish.
Okay.
There was a caller from not Iowa. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
My name is Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Calling from Dayton, Ohio.
Yes. What's your take?
Hello.
Yeah, what's your input, please? You have a minute, Jeremiah.
I would discuss one few points. Reason being is this: Liberia is all that we have. We have to learn how to be appreciative. Liberia was never a country that was on the map before. Now we're seeing Liberia making progress. Now we're seeing our people passing and wired. Now we're seeing developmental aspect going on in our country. Why can't we as Liberians come together and see how best we can build our own country and start criticizing this one government, because this government will be gone tomorrow.
Thank you.
But Liberia will be there tomorrow for the betterment of our children, our sisters.
Thank you, my brother.
We have to preach loyalty to our country.
Thank you. Thank you for your point. We appreciate you. We get to the next caller here. We got 2 more callers, and then we'll call it a day. We'll turn the rest of the time to the panelists to address some of these issues, make the points, and provide clarity and context for us to end the show. Yes, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Please leave your message for.
I call you caller by the caller. I want to pick up. Okay, the caller's there.
Let me call it last on you.
Let me call it last caller. Yeah, the caller there looking at it. They get some stubborn caller then. I'm just trying to return those callers who we missed on here really quick. Okay, yeah. Other caller here. Let me see. Let's call this caller back. And if this caller does not pick up, that will be it for the day. Somebody call it. We call you back and you scared. Don't be afraid. You're afraid of what? Tell you you're afraid of. I'm begging you. You don't even be scared. She can't do nothing. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? Hello.
Yeah, I'm looking at myself of Kansas City, Missouri.
You can call 2 times though.
So you can call 2 times. I can call 2 times. It's all right.
Okay, go ahead.
I knew you were gonna go there
because I didn't know what D Curtis number. Sorry, I didn't know what D Curtis number until I got him on. Let me get this last caller and then we'll go back. And then we'll come to the panelist. Yes, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Hey, my name is Victoria CDC girl.
Yeah,
somebody looked me that on Rennie show.
Yes, I'm enjoying the conversation, Victoria. What's your input, please?
My input is Liberian people will learn lives. Like we were doing good. I was just in Liberia, so they're doing very good.
Okay.
Some will learn lives. That one life today. I'm in a community with 5,000 people and maybe 200 kids going to school. Wow. Every morning you get up, you see the little kids sitting there. I was in Liberia, I just came back. Some Liberians would like to lie. They're all lie. Liberia is doing good. Liberia people are going to school. Our kids are all over the place. It's so sad. And people do not want to speak the truth. And some of us, we just look at it because politics have taken everything. We don't want to accept what's going on in that country. Our kids are getting raped. Our children are going to school. Our mothers are selling potato grain, cassava on their head, getting 4 o'clock in the morning. You see a woman look like this.
Thank you, Victoria. Sorry, Mama, your 1 minute is out. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please? Please, the noise from you. Caller.
Hello.
The noise from your back. The noise from your back. We can do well with noise, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah. I'm sorry for this noise, but it's control now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. My name is Lawrence. I'm calling from Waterloo, Iowa.
Yes, sir. What's your input?
Yeah, I don't know. Did I hear people say Liberia is progressing? I mean, the thing is not about whether that government or that this, that opposition, whoever. The fact remains Liberia is nowhere. They agree. And let us blame ourselves. For me, it's not only government, it's not opposition, for our very selves, we the Liberians. Although some of us have played a major role, but at least majority Liberians, we the cause. The country is nowhere. You see, Liberia, you can't even realize the 6 o'clock group or 7 o'clock or 8, 90, Liberia is progressing.
Thank you, caller.
You see, Liberia going a day, then people say Liberia is progressing.
Caller, thank you. Thank
no justice, nothing.
Caller, thank you so much. Caller, thank you so much for your input.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's get another caller on really quick. The last caller for the day. Let's see who will be the lucky caller. The last caller for the day. Let's see who will be this lucky caller, and then that's it. We'll call it a day. This person called twice, so we'll call them back. So if you call before and we call you back and you didn't answer, we're not playing phone tag again. We'll not call you back again. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from, please?
Hey, my name's Gwen. I'm calling from Michigan. Just wanted to speak on a few things there. First thing, I was talking about nationalism, talking about foreign artists coming to Liberia. I just want to ask the Liberians, will Ghana or Nigeria call our people to sing at the national programs? Have they ever done it? I don't think so, and they would not do it. So we need to love our own and promote our own. I don't care how we spin this. This was totally wrong, not even for George Weah, but another government are coming in should take note of this. Use your own things that you have. Love the things that you have. The Ghanaians will never bring Liberians to the program to promote their program. Then the second point I want to make here is what...
You got 10 more seconds, Gwen.
Yes, Shabbat said about ANC. ANC, we said it, you guys need to bring your own propagandists on to propagate your message. Town criers. We're not talking about people sitting on Facebook in America. They cannot do it. We need people on the ground to spread ANC message. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gwen. Let's caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? The last caller for the day. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. What's your name? Where you calling from? Too much noise in your back.
Yeah, Steven, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. What's your input, please?
Thank you. My name is Mustafa. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for taking my call. What I have to say is that we always say we're not love to retrogress, but to progress. But I do believe that Liberia is retrogressing under the CDC-led government.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that we say Liberia will not be a spectator in the country.
Yes.
Liberia will not be a spectator in the economy.
Yes.
So if you can look at where we are today by bringing foreign dancers into our country where we have a lot of artists with talent. So how do you think we're going to promote our own people? The government have to set the rule clear and make it easier for our people. And you will see other people sitting saying, oh, the government is doing this, the government is doing that. But look at the school fees, my brother.
Okay.
We say our mother, our country woman. She in the market selling.
You got 10 more seconds.
The government does not have authority over the school fees.
10 more seconds,
so
caller.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That will be the last caller for the day. If we did not take your calls, sorry. And if you decide to play phone tag with all two, that was your fault. When we call you back, you answer. You don't answer, don't call back because we're not taking it again. Mr. J. Rennie, based on what you said, let's get to you. Let's hear your input for the next 2 minutes here, and then we'll do a roundtable again, maybe one more round, and then do our closing statements. Mr. J. Rennie.
Yes, thank you very much. And I would just like to use the caution. I think when we're on intellectual forum like this, it's better to pay attention to question and answer the question. You asked me whether the country is making progress, and as T. Raleigh said, I said the car is moving. the car is moving, but individually, people are making progress. From a party standpoint, some will say we're not making progress, others will say we are making progress. Those individual progress are gains that are changing life in individual lives. But as a country collectively, that means including every individual in the country, are we making progress? And this is where I say no, because every political party sees things differently. And the only way we can measure a national progress if we have a national development agenda. That one we can measure national progress. Even if the World Bank, the IMF, they come up with any data, that does not make it a constant data. Every individual and any Liberian, whether it is a consultancy, you can use that data and also go and validate these things. Today, there is a data from Afrobarometer that spoke about the political party, CDC, Unity Party, and ANC. They are saying that ANC is not known in the country. But can I say ANC is not doing well? No. The percentage that ANC has is a sign that it is making progress. The only thing it needs to do is to improve the progress, which you call progress improvement. So whatever happening in Liberia today, in much, the international partners are there. They're working with us. Whatever they bring out, it is up to the government and it is up to every talk show host to come up with this information and be able to what? And remind the government, be able to what? Have this conversation. Kids not going to school. It is not just the government. It's not just the government that make kids not go to school. Why? Because why is it many parents who are in Liberia today are not educated? Remember the original sin? What law do we have in the country that say by the time any child that was born in Liberia in 1847, that child should be out of high school? There was no law. So we blame the government back then that they didn't make no progress? No. The process was not being monitored to determine how successful we are. And that's why I spoke about being Liberia-centric. The centricity of being a Liberian is to measure things based on equity. How many people can we definitely look at that and say X, Y, Z? So
Thank you.
I would not say here the country is not making progress. It is making progress, but the progress must be improved and it should be put into an equity position.
Thank you so much. Ciao. Let's get to you really quick. We're going to Chairman do that.
No, I don't think I have much to say. You know, the color that said that, you know, the country is progressive because people passing WIAC and doing well. I mean, that was just, I couldn't help but to just laugh about it. I mean, either he was just born a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, or he's just out of touch. We've been passing WIAC. I went to school in Liberia. I went to Zion. I went to LU. I went to high school. We've been passing. We've been passing. So don't make it look like the education system was so bad off and now it's gotten better. In fact, it's gotten worse since we left. It's worse. So I don't even know. I can only think that this person, you know, is a support of the government. So obviously they see nothing wrong there. You know, you take government money, you spend $4 million based on some market in West Point or Lukuta or Douala, and you think that's progress. It's waste. This is how you measure progress. So I don't. It's just beneath really beneath me to really spend some time on talking about something, to use that as a yardstick to think that the country is making progress. My brother, Deacon is we're not gonna, you know, we respect your diverse opinion. One thing I would say though, you mentioned something about you know, how many artists were there, whatever it is. You know whose fault is that? The planners of that program. The planners of that program, not the artists. They were supposed to put as many artists there to feature as many artists. So it's not their fault. It's bad planning, bad planners. So that's why I got to say, you know, sometimes we gotta win some, we gotta lose some. So this one would never come to a common ground. You can clearly see that. So we respect your diverse opinion on that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Chairman Dora, let's get to you.
Yeah.
And then we'll do Randy.
Before I say my comment, tell that Bray doing that. You got to send some. You got to send that Bray to Alabama. Yeah. So so you know, it's again, man. You know, but Tim just said it. You know, it's part of the problem that we have in our country. I don't know what the color is in America, is in Liberia, but it's part of the problem. Imagine you in America or in this country or you're in a sophisticated society, and you think that the measure of progress is passing WIAC, then there's a fundamental problem we have. That's the problem that we got to deal with, right? If you think about the progress the country has made or is making, it's about somebody sitting the wire and passing the wire, then there has to be, you have to look at from a broader perspective. So we have a problem as a country and as a people, and we got to acknowledge it. It's about making progress. Like I said, if you measure the country progress by numbers, the world is sophisticated. You go to the State Department website. There's tons of different reports that are there. 2020 Human Rights Report is there. You go on the UN UNICEF website. You Google Liberia. You compare the current the 4 years or 5 year judge, the 6 years, 5 year judge we have been in power, versus the 5 years or 12 years that Ellie was in power. You compare it, and you know what, we're making progress. If you want an economy, go to go to IMF or the World Bank. Take the reports from the past 12 years and compare with the report from with the current report and see what we're making progress. I just told you, 2020, the report on the World Bank is negative and 3.0. As compared to 2017, we are 2.5. So you can't look at those kind of numerical differences and you say like the country is making progress. But again, it's a wonderful conversation. We certainly will be here to kind of see how we can be able to contribute to the discourse and see how we can be able to make our country move forward as a country and as a people.
Chairman, throw in your closing comment.
Very quickly though, I forgot. One of your callers asked about our.
We'll come to you for you to address that. Let's Chairman closing.
Okay.
Your closing comment. Okay. Then we'll come to you. Your closing comment, you can address that. Then Jay Rennie will be the last year before we close on. Okay. Because we're running.
So again, I want to say thanks to the SKTV is my family. The family of Steve is a brother, is a friend. I've known Tef. On Facebook, she's a wonderful sister. I love her to death. I can't wait to come to Texas and can't get your hat on there. Again, I just want to say thanks to all the, for the progress you guys have continued to make. Engage the public opinion about the progress in Liberia, and whatever we can do to be able to help. We'll be here to do that, contribute our voices to whatever we can do. So I want to say thank you, man, Moses, and to thank you to Sego. He's not here. And to tell, for the invitation, and I look forward to more invitation. By that time we'll come in, we'll come as an ANC, we'll be able to pay some money, So again, thank you so much. I appreciate the effort and the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Yes. Ciao. Let's get your closing or your parting comments.
I think one of the callers mentioned about what our thoughts on Madam Salif leadership compared to now or something like that. But it's something had to do with Madam Salif, and I think. As far as Madam Salif leadership, while it's true I was not a fan, or I'm not a fan of her leadership, but I will give her credit that she recruited talents. I will give her credit. There are people she didn't just bring. Most of the people she brought are people who had experience, who went to school here. Some of them I knew. I went to school, high school, college with them. They were working corporate America. They were well suited and well placed in the position. Where I differ with some of them is that when they went there, they started to steal. Because again, talk about fraud, the environment and all of that, things that they couldn't do here, they went there and started doing it. And so, but I mean, that's all I can say for her government. If we compare to the two governments, whereas this government just bringing Kobo seller and make them minister, bring somebody cleaning the garage, make them assistant minister. No, there's no reward for experience or something. It's more of party mandate or relationship, things like that. There's no reward for talent to say, you know what, I'm going to place Rennie to environmental or minister of whatever if they have such, because you know what, he has the knowledge, skills, and experience, and he's best suited for that position. So that's one thing I'll give her credit for.
So, you're now closing, but let's get to Rennie here really quick. Jay Rennie?
Yeah, so I think I would probably agree with Tel when it comes to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, because they were very open to recruiting people, because I am one of the opportunistic person who were given the opportunity. but I declined to take that. So I gave it to her administration. As far as this government that I support, that one, I would say there was no progress in our effort. Yes, there were absolutely no progress. But just to sum things up here, I wanted to understand that when we measure progress, it is a dynamic process that takes place. Progress is not 2 plus 2 equal 4. If you measure progress, you got 2 plus 2 equal 4, then you're erasing the whole thing. It is a process that will go over time and measure over what has been achieved to determine that progression. If we don't understand that concept, we'll be missing it. They least to say that IMF World Bank, IMF is loaning money to get profit. So when they come in and give progress report, you think it will discourage anybody? No. They're just letting the government know that you are in the direction, but this is what percentage you are achieved. But that doesn't mean that we should just take it and say it's okay. Political parties seeing those things, they should trust those information, those data, but go on the ground and verify those things and come back and develop your economic plan, develop your political party action plan, and begin to engage these people. So if somebody can say, oh, I see IMF report, I see World Bank report, anybody can go out there and put report out, but it must be verified. And this is what I see Mr. Weah will end up winning again, because the people will not be given the informed information to make that informed decision to allocate Weah from there. By you seeing it, like a girl I call from Michigan, she said, you need to go on the ground. Macha Patel said, you need to go on the ground. And this is not only mutually exclusive to the ANC, it's to everyone I want to defeat George Weah. So it's not in progress. It is how much are you doing to bring that little percentage that is missing to the people of Liberia to get a clear understanding. So progress, as an engineer, it is not 2 plus 2 equal 4. Right. Progress is a step by step. Baby crawl today, when they turn around, you tell your wife, oh, he turned around, oh, she turned around today. Tomorrow when they crawl, oh, he stand up, he made one step, he sat down on his butt. Will you say the time making no progress? No. Progress is a measure of things that are done. And one of the failures that got people talking today that we are then could reconcile, if they were coming every 3 month progress report, that would determine at the end of every fiscal year where they're making the progress. So for me, if TVEC can go to Liberia, any ANC people coming living in the country, Boka living in the country, we know there are things happening. But if people can go back and forth and come back, that is a progress toward peace. Notwithstanding, things happen, Moses, but progress is being made. Unless during the wartime where people were flying, nobody could go there. Even the international community said, nobody going anywhere. That means there was zero progress for anybody to go. But the fact that things are doing little by little is called walking progress. All we need to do is to direct it in the direction. It can either be ANC to identify it, it can be Unity Party to identify it, but look to where they are right now. Let me ask you guys a final question here. Do you see any progress with what Mr. Urede Bakari comes to quote? Do you think what the accusing coming up, is that any progress to the Liberian people to accept? I leave that one with you guys when it comes to your progress definition.
Thank you so much, Jay Randy. What we'll do, we'll get in touch with you. What we'll do, Jay Randy is not a stranger here.
I'm not stranger, you can call me anytime.
We'll set up another time so that we can have this conversation better.
All right.
I like his perspective on the issue of progress. Thank you so much, Jay Randy.
Very thorough.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye,
yes. We're running to our announcements here really quick before we call it. Tomorrow we'll be on. Tomorrow is Mondays, one of our usual days. We'll be on.
Tomorrow's holiday.
Yes, and we'll discuss some things. So that interview will not be cooking or eating, so she will be available on
free time. I got some free time.
Hopefully tomorrow she will be on time and she will be the host for the show tomorrow. She will be on time.
You know, I like to lead for the back. You know,
she will be hosting the show tomorrow. So y'all get ready. So all the caller where you calling from, she don't want to do it. You will see. You will see who's hot. But I want to say thanks to all of you for sticking with us. 3 hours we've gone.
Yeah,
we had to accommodate Jay Randy and Tell who came here a little later because they had things that they were doing in the back as well. But we want to thank Chairman Duda for being here, spending his time with us. Thank you so much to our viewers and our listeners. Tell, any other thing you want to say before we leave, because we're about to call it a day?
Yeah, we're almost hitting 3 hours. But no, I think it was a good show, and I thank my brothers for coming on and adding value. But I want to address today, different day, depending on what we're talking about. It depends
we gotta go. We gotta
whatever
go.
it is. No, but it's important. No. Let me stress this though. It's important. People have to understand that when somebody giving direct conversation doesn't mean you're being rude and disrespectful. If I say that you take a husband and make them minister, that's not being disrespectful. You're misplacing people in the wrong position. If you take a yard cleaner and make them minister, that's not being disrespectful. That's just the fact. So you have to match people based on the knowledge, skills, and experience. That's not being disrespectful. So if you're in your feeling this Sunday, so be it. We don't care.
But the boy do you tomorrow when you running the show.
It is what it is. It depends. Today that CDC, tomorrow will be ANC, tomorrow will be Liberty Party or whoever. We're used to it.
No, but that's truth. That's truth. And people don't like the facts. When you say the fact, they take it personal. They want to put names on you or put titles or whatever it is. But that's truth. When you start saying the truth, they say, oh, you're emotional. Oh, you this. Oh, you rude. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what rude is. Rude is when the president of the republic and his boys steal money, take our friends, our partners' money, the donors' money, and use it to not benefit you. That is being rude. That is being rude. Taking somebody who don't know what to do in a position, putting in there because they're your friend, or because you know that they will steal and cover you too as well. That is not being rude. When we say that, we won't say it. It's not being rude.
You think about Trump Jr. in America and you make him finance minister. Is that madness? Is it not madness? Is it not rudeness to the highest to the Liberian people and some the people who went to school here and who know better went to school in Liberia? Isn't that a rudeness that y'all should be talking about? Man, y'all catch your feelings, man. Let people go enjoy the rest of the Sunday.
Well, like I said, call it rude, call it disrespectful. The facts are the facts. If somebody can steal me, I'll call them rude. And I ain't gonna go design it. I'm not gonna say they embezzle. I'm not gonna do that. The little man steal, the big man can steal. If I can look at Joseph Human Burger and say he is a smooth crook, John Weah, I can tell John Weah he's a criminal. I can say it. With all regret, I don't want to say it. And I stand by it today, I stand by it tomorrow. It will not change. And to y'all who will be sucking up, before we leave, to y'all who can be sucking up, let me say it to y'all. That's your choice. Say you choose to suck up is okay. When we choose to say the truth too, then why you get very well? But I like the fact that CDCs are calling now, people who's, they used to be watching it from far or from distance. They're mustering the courage to call. It is a good thing we can have the conversation. That's good. Someone they are writing now, someone they are getting comfortable. That's fine. You see, you are living from your comfort zone and you are coming to terms with reality. That's all we have been asking you to do. Don't hire yourself. If you support
I'm glad we're able to stimulate them.
If you want to come out and say, oh, we lie, we do the wrong, it's okay. But the facts will speak. The facts will speak. So at the end of the day, we want to say thank you, Tunisians, our brothers and our sisters. All of us, we love each other and we'll continue to love each other. But in loving each other, we probably can say the truth. Some of us. Don't put each other. If you feel okay, don't